what we do here is go back.
Okay, and we are, oh my god, what has happened there? Oh no, it was all going so well. What's happened to that? Jesus. Oh dear, let's plug that back in again. Oh, what has gone on? We've got some super hyper techno colour going on there. Right, let's turn the camera off. Turn the camera back on. Oh, geez. Right, okay. I have no idea what's going on here. I was pressing lots of keys just now because my keyboard didn't appear to be working, so I've obviously done something. So let's have a look. Filters, and there was no filters. Oh dear. Device default. I don't know what's going on. I've just updated the NVIDIA drivers and also OBS at the same time. Which
Mitch wanted it bright and colourful.
He did, yeah. UV stains showing up, yeah. Oh, hang on. I know it's colour. What is going on? Right, I'm going to remove that. Remove HDMI 1. Then we'll add video capture device. And we'll add in call it video capture device, and let's try. Oh, what is going on? I've got no idea what is going on here. What on earth? Let's see if the overhead. So the overhead camera looks fine. So it's clearly a camera issue.
That looks right now. Overhead.
Yeah, that's the overhead. Right, I'll leave it on the overhead a minute so as not to offend anybody. Try that on HDMI port 2. And we'll give the port a little clean.
Cable probably.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Right, let's switch back to HDMI. Sorry about this, everybody. Right, so I've got no signal. Okay, no signal. Hey, there we go. Bada boom, bada bing. I'll put on the other HDMI port now. No idea what's going on whatsoever. Can you see me and or hear me is the question. Oh dear. Welcome to the wrong side of the rainbow. Yep, all good. Excellent stuff. God. That was a little bit fraught. I was in a little bit of a race to try and get things going here, and my heart was pounding just before I pressed the button to start the stream. And yeah, I've been planning for this for ages as well, as I generally do, but it always goes wrong. But I am a human person. I've got Kerry Helsman in the chat. He says, we see and hear you. Thank you all for joining us tonight on this Saturday night live stream. Sorry it all went a little bit pear-shaped early on. And for those of you that are here from Kerry's side of the fence, welcome to all, and welcome to Kerry himself. And for those of you that are long-time Mike's Unboxing viewers and you fancy watching some content which actually is going to be, well, to be honest with you, very similar ethics and all that kind of stuff, head over to Kerry Holzman's channel and you'll see there's an absolute ton of content which if you've got a late night or a bit of spare time and you want to deep dive into a live stream, Kerry does some super long depth live streams. They're just yeah, phenomenal. And he's been around a long time, so he knows the business inside out. Definitely worth a watch, so definitely check it out if you can. And I'm guessing most of you probably subscribe to us both anyway, so it's all good. Anyway, so yes, everything seems to be working. Let's just make sure the overhead works. Well, actually, you've seen the overhead. That works, yeah. We're all good. Happy days. And the desktop stream, yes, we can see that. That's all working. Fantastic. So yeah, hopefully you've all had a great weekend and enjoyable week. Not really going to go into too much into the week's topics of processor launches, which all of which have been rather disappointing anyway. Tonight we have a somewhat of a special project. Now, for those of you that don't know the history, myself and Kath both worked for the BBC here in the United Kingdom. Me for about 10 to 13 years, I think. Was it 13 years? 14 years? No, I don't know. It was a long time. Kath worked there a couple of years as well, and long story short, things went a bit south and we no longer work there, as you probably guessed. But we met a ton of really great people along the journey. We met some not so great people as well, but on the whole, generally most people were excellent. And one of those excellent people was a gentleman called Mitch Silcock. Mitch, if you're ever going to watch this, hi, how you doing? And for those of you that are interested, Mitch actually designed the Mike's Unboxing logo along with myself and Kath. He did get into a bit of a tizzy fit with it and slammed the lid down on his MacBook when he was trying to design it because we were taking the piss out of him.
You were just not agreeing to what he liked.
I was being me. I'm a typical Taurian. Mitch is somewhat of a Taurian as well. And yeah, we failed to disagree on certain aspects of the design. Anyway, by the by.
We have our birthdays within 4 days of each other, don't we?
Yeah, Mitch's birthday I think is on the 2nd. Yours is the 3rd and mine's on the 6th. So we're all very similar birthdays. Anyway, I digress. So Mitch works on various TV productions around the UK and around the world. And he's actually contacted me very recently to say he was interested in getting a PC, a prop PC, for a children's TV show that he's working on, which I believe is based in Liverpool, some long-running TV show. I'm not at liberty to say what it is, so I'm not going to say what it is, and to be honest with you, I'd rather not know what it is. Maybe I'll find out one day. But anyway, so he wanted a prop PC. Now, if you don't know what a prop is something that you have which is in normally the background of a studio or TV set or whatever it is. So say for instance, this battery could be classed as a prop. In reality, it's just something which I've left here and forgotten to put in its appropriate place. So I'll try and do that later. But things like the Star Wars Boba Fett, that type of thing, that effectively is a prop. Something like the Superman logo, that is a prop. Some props are practical, i.e. they have a purpose, such as the light. Obviously it illuminates and it's a sign. Some props here, like screwdrivers, obviously they have a purpose. And the PC behind me has a purpose. That is effectively a prop. It is on the asset list for the Mike's Unboxing as a prop, even though it is a computer, it is a prop. But that is what is known as a practical prop. So it is a real working PC, much like the light is a real working light. The tools are real working ones, they're not fakes. So coming forward a little bit, thinking about what this is going to be used on, it is going to be a prop on a TV set, on a kids TV show, where there are the things that you'd never really want to mix ever on a TV set. And that is children and film crew. Anything that's electrical or can be programmed or can be broken, you want to keep away from children and film crew because they don't respect these things. Anyone who's worked in the TV industry will know that if you're in the electrical department, you don't care about anything else. If you're in the art department, you don't care about pretty much anything else. That is the way that the TV world works. You look after your own little projects and that's it. So when you're building a prop to go onto a TV set, you've got to take some things into consideration, i.e. the chances are it's going to get destroyed. So if it is a real working prop, it has to be durable. The other side of things is, if it is something which has any moving parts, they have to be secure. And most importantly,
Made for dummies.
made for dummies, yeah. Most importantly, they have to be very, very quiet. Otherwise, you get the sound department coming over, throwing basically thick blankets or rugs over the top of your computer, which those of us that are watching this stream, you obviously appreciate the fact that if you put a blanket or some kind of cover over your computer, you pretty much know what's going to happen. It's going to get very, very warm, and the chances are it's going to die horribly. So there's many considerations you have to take into account when having a PC on a set. So that is why this is going to be a prop PC. So in terms of the general aesthetics, it's going to look like a real working PC. It's going to have RGB lighting, it's going to have fans that spin, it's going to have components installed in it, such as a motherboard, a cooler, RAM, all those types of things. Graphics card I'm not too sure on at the moment. That is definitely a work in progress, so this will be a continuation later on. But there's things that we do need to do to make sure that it is actually usable on a set, such as a suitable way of controlling the lighting without having to use a Windows operating system. Also, a method of controlling the fan speeds. So if for some reason they're filming close by and they want the fans turned down, it can be done easily without having to go into any computer or any software and have knowledge of how it all works. So I've had to design this with simplicity in mind, but also to make it look as functional as possible. So there's a list of parts which you can see in the video description, which obviously is not particularly expensive. And actually we should get to an admission of guilt. Now the thumbnail is somewhat of a clickbait. So the PC actually in the thumbnail looks, let's say, a little bit more elaborate than what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be using the same case, we're going to be using the same fans, and some of the other parts will be very similar. But obviously it's not going to look quite as elaborate as it does on the thumbnail. That is a little bit of the typical YouTube trickery, trying to get viewers in, which hopefully might pay off one day, you never know. But anyway, just to get that out of the way, it's not going to be water cooled, it's not going to have any radiators, it's going to be relatively simple due to the fact, again, it has electrical parts in it. It needs to be as simple as we can do so that it can exist on a TV set where it's likelihood that the power could be ripped out at any moment, and also it could be knocked over, kicked, basically abused. So there's all those things which have been taken into consideration. Some of you are probably wondering, well, if you've got a PC on a set, how do you then make it so it is practical? Now, generally what happens on TV productions is you have a computer, the kind of the hero prop that the actor is typing away on, but generally the keyboards and the mice don't work at all. They're not even connected, or potentially it won't even be the actor's own hands. It'll be some other actor or a stand-in doing the action, controlling the computer, because again, actors have got enough to do without having to know how to use a computer or software. So generally it's all pre-recorded videos which are just played back on a loop type thing. So this particular PC will be having a separate laptop, probably the art director's or one of the standby crew's own laptops, which they'll run an HDMI cable into a nearby monitor just to produce a display on the screen. So the computer itself doesn't need to be turned on other than to power on the RGB lighting and the fans. It won't be running Windows, it won't have an operating system, the motherboard won't even be getting power. So all of the things which could potentially go wrong, or like the PC not boot up after a Windows update, all of those worries will be completely gone from the art director. They don't have to worry about it. It's another problem that won't exist, which, believe me, when you have art directors on set and there's multiple PCs and they turn them on and they're waiting for Windows, and sometimes it says that Windows has crashed or you've got a blue screen or the programs won't run or load, it's just another hassle they don't need. They've got enough hassles with making sure that everything's in the right places, that everything looks good, the actors are in the right place, they've got their correct props, their phones, etc, etc. So they've got enough on their mind without having to worry about all this. So hence why we're doing this PC build. Now, another reason why it is going to be exceptionally different from the thumbnail is because we were given a budget. So I'll give you a couple of minutes just to fire away in the comments section there. Please let me know, to the nearest £100, how much you think that this particular project has for a budget. If you want to use...
They did really wanting a working one to start with.
Yeah, originally they asked for a working one. So because of the budget that I was offered, this is the suggestion that I come up with. So let me know in the comments section. I'm going to quickly drill down through some of the comments we've already had and also acknowledge some of the super chats from you lovely, lovely people. If I knew where my mouse was. There it is. We got it. We're there. I was just seeing there Greg Doll's put in £87.
13 pence.
You're probably not too far off. So let's go. We've had some super chats in already, so let's say hello to those people and acknowledge those. So Michael T was first up with 10 Aussie dollars. Thank you very much, Michael T. You're a lovely man. He says, howdy Mike Cath, kitties and mubbers. Everyone have a great day and weekend. Something for Kitty. Kitty dollars. Ha ha ha. Thank you very much. Sorry, Cath, can you close that window?
Boys.
Sorry, just having to close the window there. We've got some neighbours who are a little bit boisterous this evening, it seems. Sorry, Pat and Dave, if you're watching. It sounds like you're not. Next up, we had 5 Mike's Unboxing memberships gifted by Michael T as well. And those were gifted to JJ UK1, Peter S, Carl G, and the Ordinary Dude. All of you gifted memberships by Michael T, so thank you again, Michael T, much appreciated. For those of you who don't know how the memberships work, essentially what you get is early access to some of the videos, which is awesome if you like that sort of thing. And also you can use custom emojis in the chat should you wish to. And also you get a VIP rank on the Discord for as long as your membership continues. Although generally, I won't tell you too much, but I forget to take them off. So if you get it, you'll probably keep it. So there you go. Not that it makes much difference anyway.
And you have to tell us if you want.
Who else? So Mick Woods was the next one. Thank you, Mick. Mick says, good evening, Mike Cath, and all PC and tech enthusiast mubbers around the globe. Thank you very much, Mick, for that £10 donation. Much appreciated. Rick says, a summer's evening to all. It isn't here. It's basically black clouds, well, grey black clouds, and it's dark already. Normally when we start these streams, especially this time of year, we normally leave the sunlight coming through just to get the last of the sunlight. But today, it is actual dark.
As you can tell when we turn the light off.
It's basically winter.
We haven't got the blind shut.
Let's go through. Oh, sweet. Oh, another one from Michael T. Thank you again, Michael T. Another 5 Aussie dollars. Let's keep those disco lights a coming. We certainly will. As long as you keep on paying for them, we'll keep on turning them on. Thank you, Mike. Skystalker says there, hey, all you awesome peoples. I see that Mike is being fashionably late again.
You didn't envision you being fashionably groovy.
Yes.
Still more.
There's more. There's more.
Did you do Mick Woods?
I just did Mick Woods then, yeah. I'm just scrolling down. So, lucky man. He's become a Mike's Unboxing member. Welcome to the supporters club. Lucky man, the man with the most inappropriate name on Discord or YouTube, I believe. How you doing, lucky man? Keeping your chin up, hopefully. Was that it? I think that was it. That was it. Okay, excellent stuff. So let's have a look at some of your guesses for the price on this then. So let's go through some, actually Firestorm.
Excuse me.
You are very right, but also wrong at the same time. The initial offering was £200. So we were doing some discussion on Messenger. He's saying that he wants to get a PC, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, that's fine. Yeah, no problem. I'm quite happy to build you a PC. We'll go through all that for you. He basically wanted it to replicate what I've got here or above my desk over there, which you guys have probably seen anyway, which these PCs behind me, this is probably somewhere in the region. I guess it's got to be getting on for £800-900, maybe more. I've never added it up because it just terrifies me. So yeah, about £1,000 worth of computer. So when he said he wanted it for £200, I was like, well, at least now we have a figure that we can work to. So hence why it's not going to look exactly like it does in the thumbnail. It will look 80% of it, which for having 80% of the budget taken away from a £1,000 PC to give you £200, I think that's a pretty good proposition there. So Firestorm said £300. That is what we've negotiated back up to. So after getting the message for £200, he did say maybe I could hire your PC for £200. Just hire it, rent it. In the in the TV industry, generally, if you go to like a higher place, and there are these all around the globe, well, all around the world, and also obviously the UK, especially in London, there's what they call prop houses. So you go to a prop house, they've got all the props laid out so you can see them all, and TV companies and film crews and stuff go there, they find something that they want to use. So the product, say for instance, it was this keyboard. So this keyboard's got a value of £100. So normally the kind of the prop hire rate is either 10 to 20%, depending on what it is and how long it is. Most likely it'll be something like this, a keyboard worth £100 would be maybe £10 a week to hire. So depending on how long the production needs it for, maybe it's a couple of months or whatever. Obviously it can almost get to the price of where you could buy a keyboard, but that is the way that the TV industry works. Kath had her hand up.
The chat stuff's not working on the screen, if that makes, just for info purposes, they've said.
Ah, oh, I know why, sorry.
Just so you know.
It's because I got my video capture device on the wrong layer. Thank you, everybody. Glad to see someone's keeping on my toes. So, Zero Defects guessed £400. Andy Archer said £200 as well. Nice one, Andy. Kenny D says 600. Dave Aiken said £200 as well. I'm not sure if I actually told Dave. I think I might have done, but I can't remember. If you didn't, a good guess. Rick says 180. Craig Doll says 87 quid. Very precise. Rasher says 250 quid. Well, if you take into account 250 euros, because you're in Ireland, yeah, you're not far off. O'Reilly says 500 quid. I wish. That would make life a lot easier. And actually, to be honest with you, having the fact that this PC has had to be kind of minimised to such a small budget is actually more beneficial for me, and possibly for the film crew as well, because now it doesn't have to be a practical PC. It is effectively a prop, which doesn't need a working motherboard, doesn't need a working processor, doesn't need a working graphics card, doesn't need a working hard drive, all that stuff. Doesn't even need working RAM. So there's a massive saving to be had here. So we've come in with all the parts that we're going to be going through. I think it worked out to be about £200-ish. We had a £300 budget. Obviously, shipping costs is going to cost maybe, I don't know, £20, £25 to ship. Plus, obviously, from my time and labour, probably, I don't know, 50 quid or so. I'm doing a mate a favour, effectively, so it's like a token payment. If it was based on an hourly rate, I've already spent 2 or 3 hours just getting the parts together and pricing it all up. So most of you know how that works. If you went to a garage, by now it would be like more than the cost of the PC for the labour. Ah dear. Anyway, okay.
Is it for the scummy BBC?
It is not for the BBC as far as I know. I don't think so. If it is, I will charge more. So you got some pretty good guesses in there. Most of you are around about the sort of £200 mark, £300, a couple of 150s, all that stuff. William Bodie says, with all, I think, £750. Nice one. I wish. O'Reilly's put 75 quid revised. It's unfortunately, it's one of those things where there are some kind of inherent costs which you can't get around. So obviously the look of the case is the important one. So the case was decided on. So that is a non-negotiable price because that is what it costs to buy. Having a lot of fans in a case, they are kind of 15 quid, 20 quid for a pair. So there's not really a great deal you can do there anyway. I've put in a motherboard which isn't working, which was £10 for a non-working motherboard. The CPU cooler was brand new from Amazon, so I didn't want to risk kind of used fans and stuff. You never know if they're going to fail at some point and start making a hell of a rattle. So thing. 20 quid for that. Yeah, the silence is a big part of the whole PC. So power supply, couldn't just go for a cheap kind of 20, 30 quid power supply. A, because it'll be loud, and B, because potentially it could be a fire starter, which you don't want to put in a fire starting power supply into a computer. Well, Kath's going, yeah, go on, do it. Burn it. So you don't obviously, you don't want to do that. You don't want to put something risky, like a risky power supply. It's got to go through a PAT test, which is a portable appliance test, which is done in the UK for electrical devices. So it has to be tested before it goes onto the set. Although generally most electricians will not bother testing the actual power supply. They'll just take the kettle lead or IEC lead and just test the lead, make sure the lead's okay. They don't worry about the computer. I don't know why that is. It was a BBC thing. Maybe they're just not doing it how they should do. I don't know. So yeah, there are some costs which you can't get around. The power supply, luckily, picked up the power supply from young David Aitken. He's come to our rescue there with a nice cheap 20 quid power supply. So I have made some significant savings on this. So potentially it's going to come in a little bit cheaper. As much as I would like to say, well, I'll still charge the 300 quid even though I've saved money on parts. Mitch is a mate, so I wouldn't do that to him. But if he says, well, yeah, that's fine, just still charge that, then I don't care. He did the logo, so we are indebted to him a large amount. So there we go. I just saw there that Matthew Day said, I've got a motherboard if you want it. I have actually got a motherboard. There are still some parts which potentially I might need still. So I've put some feelers out already on our Discord for a graphics card, because at the moment I don't have a specific graphics card. Now realistically, I don't really need one. I could just go without one, and I think the light show would make up for it. Anyway, it looks like a PC regardless, even without a graphics card. I know some eagle-eyed viewers, if it ever gets seen in a shot, will go, that PC's not got a graphics card, but then it's a kid's PC, so it could be integrated graphics. I don't think anyone's going to be writing into the TV show and saying, I saw your graphics card, I saw your PC, it didn't have a graphics card, that's not real. Anyway. Yeah, so there's a Ryzen 3 3200G processor going in here, which actually works and cost me 20 quid, but I needed something to go onto the motherboard so that the CPU cooler would fit on properly and it all looks right. Now the motherboard actually does work a little bit, but it's got a weird thing where it's really slow in the BIOS. So potentially the PC could work if it had some RAM, which it hasn't because we 3D printed some. So yeah, that's another story. Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking potentially, if anyone's got a dead all-in-one CPU cooler, either a 240 or a 360, I would definitely be interested in that. Now this is really, really pissing me off because I would say only probably about 6 months ago, I actually threw away a dead 360mm AIO, which is a real pisser. So I would like to put a water cooling pump and radiator in here just for the look. So if anyone has one, ideally in white, because white was the kind of theme here. If you want to send it, if you want to donate it to us, I will more than gladly take it off you and add it to this build. But as it stands at the moment, I've just got an air cooler, which is still nice, but ideally I would have liked water cooling. And also, yeah, the other thing is the graphics card. So if you've got a dead graphics card, again, ideally in white. Now potentially I could spray paint the shroud on a graphics card. So if you've got a black graphics card and you don't want it and it's dead, and it's just taking up room and you want to donate it to us, to put it into this build, we would be more than grateful for you. I have asked on our Discord already, and I've also reached out to Max at gpus.co.uk, who is sadly on holiday at the moment. He's earning too much, clearly, but he's away for 2 weeks. Now I've got 2, maybe 3 weeks to get this build done. Ideally, I would like to get it done sooner rather than later, so Mitch can have it with him, with his art department. They can try it on the set, get the director and what have you to have a look at it, make sure we're all happy with it. So if there's any changes that need doing, we can kind of factor that in, which may or may not be needed, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, graphics card, if anyone's got a graphics card which they don't want, ideally white, preferably something a little bit on the bulky side. It doesn't have to be modern, just as long as it fills a decent space. I think that would be absolutely brilliant, if at all possible.
Picture of the graphics card.
Yeah, Dave Aiken did actually come up with the idea of 3D printing a graphics card, which I'm not entirely like, that would be cool, but I don't think my printer is big enough to do it, so it'd have to be done in sections. But potentially that could work. A 3D printed graphics card would be awesome, and if it was in white PLA, I think it would actually look quite good with the RGB. But yeah, we'll see. Irie Wolfman says, it's Mike's bedtime. I wish it was. That'd be great. Where else is there? Skystalker says, where is Ugly Bob? Well, we've not heard anything from him again this week. He said he was somewhere, which I'm not sure if I said last time or not, but
no, not nice.
I'm not meant to say. So yeah, as far as I'm aware, he's okay. He's kind of deep undercover, I think, like Eddie Murphy was in Beverly Hills Cop. He's gone deep undercover.
But working.
But working, allegedly. Giz Redford says, get some dummy RGB RAM. I was considering that. The thing is with the RGB RAM, that would then need for the motherboard to be powered, which ideally I'm not going to be powering the motherboard at all. So I've got some 3D printed RAM, which I'm going to put in for now. Ideally, I would have liked some white Corsair LPX RAM that was dead. That would be fantastic, because that would look really nice in there. But again, if anyone's got any Corsair LPX RAM in white that they don't want and is dead, it doesn't even have to be a matching pair, it doesn't matter. As long as they look kind of similar, if you want to donate them, we would be very, very grateful for that stuff as well.
Mookie.
Mookie, how far down is this? Sorry, I'm going to have to scroll down.
Near the bottom.
Fracture says block of wood with picture glued on. You never know. William Bodie says, do you want me to try sending the GTX 1660 Ti to you, Mike? I think that would be very not cost effective. But thank you for the offer anyway. Oh, yeah, ideally, if you want to donate anything, ideally if you're local, like Bristol, Bath, we can meet up or something. Or if you're in the UK, obviously we can try and help out with postage as well. If postage is a concern, just let us know. Or like when we get it, we'll send you the money or whatever. Lucky Man says, please 3D print me a working 4090. You're not the first person to ask for that.
Mookie.
Mookie, I'm looking for Mookie. I can't even see. Mookie MC. Question: does the production company generally keep the props after the fact, store them and then reuse them on another production, or junk them when the shoot is over? Now that's a very good question. Now it depends on what production it is and who is running the production. If it's something like, say for instance, like your EastEnders or Casualty, Doctor Who, that sort of stuff, any kind of long-running serials or TV dramas, they will normally have their own prop store, and they will store the props there, and once they finish with them, they'll put them into the prop store for other people to use or to disassemble and make another prop out of. Some TV shows like EastEnders, Casualty, anything which is on kind of very regularly, they'll have built sets which stay in place. So once it's built, the stuff gets put on the set and it stays there. Other productions, generally, they will go in for maybe a day or 2 or 3, whatever long it is. They'll build the set, have it all constructed, they'll dress it, use it all, and then pull it all back out, put most of the props into like storage crates. The actual flattage or the scenery will be put into like a scenery dock, and then it's all kind of flat packed away. So then if they need to reshoot it, or if they need to go back to that scene again or that area, then they just get all the props out, they get the scenery flattage, they rebuild it all and dress it all again with the props. So that's how it normally works. Alternatively, if it's a one-off production, yeah, they'll buy the props in or hire the props. They'll do the shoot, and then as soon as the director's given them okay, they've seen the footage, and it's a done deal. They've got it all in the can. There's not reshoots or anything. Then they'll either chuck the props away or give them to people, or try and sell them on, depending on what it is. Sometimes they'll sell props to like the production people. So if someone says at the end, "Oh, I really like that couch. When the shoot's over, can I buy that?" And they're like, yeah, fine, no problem. And they'll like pay like half price or a third of the price or something, just because it's an asset they need to get rid of, rather than paying for storage. So it depends what the production's like and how it's all working. But hopefully that explains it, sort of. Where I've got.
I remember said add a blue screen inside the PC case, then insert your PC.
Yes, try it. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, just paint the whole thing green or blue and then just do post-production on it. That is very expensive.
Oh, somebody asked. That's what I was. So you go on and on. I have a Zotac Mark Gaines.
Oh, Mark Gaines, yeah. I have a Zotac GTX 1060. Would you be interested in that? Potentially, yeah. If it's like a reasonable sized card and it's like a dual fan or a triple, I don't think it'll be a triple fan. But as long as it's like a dual fan and it's got a little bit of bulk to it, you'll see when I build the case and build it up, you'll see the kind of room I'm working with. So I do need to have something which is relatively substantial. It doesn't have to be huge, but it really needs to be something which is like the width of a motherboard or slightly longer. But we'll see. I might not need to put one in there at all. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. I should have said thank you. Now, there's other people who have also made donations already. I've got some things already here which I kind of tempted to use. For those of you that have been around and watched the channel for a very long time, I am. These cable extensions are almost one of the very first things I ever bought for the channel. These cost me, I think, 20 quid. I bought a power supply for 20 quid and the cable extensions for 20 quid. So it's like 40 quid for the lot. And it was I think it was a gigabyte something modular. I can't remember what it actually was, but anyway. So yeah, I might try and put those in there because there is going to be some black, but these have got white on them as well. Alternatively, Dave Aitken earlier popped these through the letterbox for me. So these are some black cable extensions. So the power supply we've got has got ketchup and mustard on it. So these might be nice just to attach and just so it doesn't look so ketchupy and mustardy. Ideally they need to be white, but
that's where Tipex comes in.
I could spray paint them, to be honest with you, but we'll see. Alternatively, I've got a set of Tucer ones which were sent in by Andy Archer, which I'm almost considering using, but I don't really want to because they are really nice and they're brand spanking new. Bit of a waste. There we go, there's a super chat from Lucky Man, £2 super chat, thank you very much. It's Disco, 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 as Ugg is not around. Yeah, poor Uggs. God rest him. Hopefully he's going to watch this at some point when he can get some internet access. Ah, I wonder what Dave, I thought that. Ah, right. There's a message on here which I'm not supposed to read out. So, yeah. Thank you, Dave. That is an LGA 1700 mounting bracket. There is, for those of you that watched the previous streams, there was the Intel processor system that would not sell, which we converted back to AMD, and this is to go with that. So I've got the motherboard under here. Actually, I'll leave it on top, and hopefully it won't get stuck to the cat's collar. Andy Archer says, I've got some rainbow extensions if you want, Mike. Now that would be very cool. Mitch loves the whole kind of rainbow theme. Now, there are potential. Actually, let's get this thing started. Let's start building this thing, and then we can talk about it as we go on. Rick H says I have the same one. You have a drink a minute. I'm a bit. I've literally today was such a rush. I've just got my my head torch fully charged. It literally turned to green about 2 seconds before I started the stream. So I was like, oh my god, that was very, very good timing. Mookie MC says, do you know already if there will be a close-up on the computer case peripherals?
Probably won't even get shown at all.
Yeah.
That's how TV works.
The general rule of thumb is you work to the point, or you assume that it's going to happen at some point. So unless you're told specifically 100% that it will never happen, you don't do it. But any art director or prop man, prop woman, prop girl, whatever, anyone who's worked in the props department or art department will know that regardless of what it says in the script and whatever the director said on the run through, generally that is subject to change like on a blink. Literally it'll just like, actually, let's move the camera around here and we'll put it there. And then you've got your slap bang close up. So that is why I want it to look as accurate as possible, but still not be a working PC. So yeah, I've also suggested as well, this is a trick that they quite often use in TV as well. Because obviously the glass panels on the computer are reflective as all hell. So there's this sticky back plastic called Fablon. You can Google it, Fablon. And it's basically sticky back plastic on a roll. And all you do is just put it on top of the glass. Now you can get like an opaque film. You can get various different colors like all the blacks, whites, blues, whatever. But if you get the opaque one, it's basically like smeared glass effectively. Like you'd have in a bathroom or something, so you can't quite see through it. So you can kind of work out images, a bit like one of those like a cotton shower curtain, but slightly thinner. So you can see what's going on behind it, but you can't get any kind of real focus or clarity. So that was my suggestion, was that once it's done, maybe put some Fablon on it, just so it's opaque enough so that you can make out rough shapes and colours, but you can't see specifics. So that could work in our favour. But ideally, I think they want it to be crystal clear. But
They can just do it without the glass.
it's their choice. Yeah, they can take the glass out if need be. Another super chat from O'Reilly. Says, hoping the prop all goes to plan. Yeah, you and me both. Unlike my recent purchase from a certain site and the slow boat. Yeah, O'Reilly bought some, bought what was supposed to be a NAS case. Was it 2 cases or was it just the one? I think it was 2 cases. Might have been some other bits as well. From AliExpress. And basically they sent a pair of AA or AAA batteries in an envelope. Not good. And that cost him 50 quid in customs as well, plus what he paid out. Not good at all. AliExpress, you can get some cracking bargains, but also there are some charlatans on there which you do have to be careful about. So, there we go. Yeah, already says, yeah, 2 cases. Gutted for you. Shady says, Mike, have you seen the Arctic Freezer 3 AO are at a good price on Amazon at the moment? They are, but they're not good enough price, I think, personally. Especially when you've got the things like the Thermalright, the not the Frozen Warframe, what's the other one? The Vision, no, not the Vision, that's on the screen as well. I should know it, actually, I've got one in the hallway. But yeah. Yeah, they're not quite cheap enough yet. Good, but not quite cheap enough. Most TV movie programs I see, the PC prop is usually not wired up and not even powered. And then a game controller. Then the person is using it upside down or backwards. Yeah, I've seen that before.
And mobile phones, we've seen them do it.
Mobile phones, yeah, they pick it up and it's like upside down. You see like the Nokia logo down the bottom. Absolutely brilliant. Right then, let's have a look at the stuff we got. I've got the case here to one side. We'll have a. Oh shit!
JD says, have you seen the Arctic Freezer 3?
I just read that.
Oh, you did, sorry.
I did. You're right. I actually did the meme this week, so I actually downloaded RAM from the internet. I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about it. It wasn't quite as gratifying as I expected it to be. So some of the parts we've got here, so we've got our fan controller, and this is, like I said, is really important because they need to have easy control of the fans. So we've got this that goes on the PCI Express slot on the back, and it's just a rotary dial, so they can turn the fans up or down however they see fit. Without having to touch inside the PC or anything, just turn the knob and get to the appropriate speed. It's got 8 outputs on it, so we can connect up a bunch of fans here, no problem at all. Got a power supply, Corsair VS650, way too much power, but it was 20 quid and it's Corsair, so it's unlikely to catch on fire. And also, they brought it around, so save me going out of the house.
Jojo asked if we still use premium CD keys, but can we
Yes, we do. Yeah, we still use premium CD keys, and you can too. Link is in the chat.
It's actually gone down in price, I think.
They've got, yeah, because the exchange rates have changed, they've got even cheaper.
It's about £2.89, is it, in UK pounds?
You definitely get change at £3 at the moment. Andy Archer says, can you secrete your logo onto the case, Mike? I was kind of thinking about that. Greg Dodd says, Mike finally building a PC that we can all afford. Yes, true. Oh dear, it's ridiculous, isn't it? So fans,
Put it in as a £200 PC build.
CT120 ARGB in white, so we've got 6 of those. I think we only need 5. So 3 in the top, 2 on the side, 1 in the back. I was umming and ahhing about putting some along the bottom as well, but I don't have enough to do that, so I don't think I will. We've got our Gamemax ARGB V4 controller, the one that actually works well. We like that a lot. So that's the RGB and the lighting kind of taken care of. Being that Mitch really likes his RGB, or the thought of it on this, so we've got, oh, I've got that stuck on there. In here I've got RGB strips. So there's 2 30cm RGB strips in here. So we might put those in somewhere. We'll see how that goes. Might not need them.
Get rid of that.
Doing it. We've also got a right-angled RGB connector for the power supply, which potentially this won't be active, but it does have a cable, so we can run that through to the RGB controller. I've got a sneaking suspicion this has actually been chomped. Looks like it's got teeth marks on it. I don't think they were mine. So whether this works or not, I don't know. I've actually got 2 of these. I can't remember if this was Ugly Bob or Rally that sent these, or a combination of the two. Or it may have been someone else altogether. So if you actually sent these, firstly I apologise, because it looks like that's been chewed. But yeah, that will go in there as well. So just an extra little bit of lighting, another little touch. What else we got? So cooler, CPU cooler for now. If we can't get an AIO, which I would have preferred really, but we've got this instead. So this is the Thermalright Assassin King 120 SE in white. These are, even if you just want to build a real PC, these are great. In a moment, £17 on amazon.co.uk. Links are probably in the video description for this. We did a review on this ages ago, and I still don't really understand how they managed to do this for the money. And it's also low form factor. It's also relatively small form factor and low profile. So 148 millimeters this is. So you can put this into pretty much most cases without any problems at all, and even some of the small form factor boxes as well. So this, I've got a feeling this might even fit in the Sunny Side Up Designs. What's the one we got? The L? The D? What's the what version? Which one have we got? I can't remember which one it is. The case that we did the review on recently, the little form factor one. It's I think this will fit in it. Which we are going to be doing an upcoming air-cooled build in that soon. So I probably will get another one of those flat. So that's going in. I've got our 3D printed RAM. Mushroom D, thank you. Excellent stuff. So here is our 3D printed RAM. I did it in black, purely because I could not be asked to change the filament. I should do them in white really, but they are pretty cool and they fit in and they actually snap into place like normal RAM sticks. So again, for the purpose of the illusion, other than having kind of gold fingers on them, they will be absolutely fine. So 3D printed RAM. You can actually download your own RAM off the internet. It won't necessarily work, but you can use it. Processor, we've got a 3200G, which cost me 20 quid from CCL. Pretty pleased with that. And the motherboard, this one cost me a tenner. This is an MSI B450 Gaming Plus, which has, yeah, just some weird issues. So basically it doesn't work. It kind of works, but it doesn't. You wouldn't want to install Windows on it, and the BIOS is horrible. It's like really laggy. But yeah, I never figured out what the problem is with it. So rather than have it sticking around, I figured why not put it into a PC. It's got a bit of splash of colour on it, some blacks and some reds and stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. I'm putting the CPU in it for the point of being able to mount the CPU cooler properly and have the right tension on there without it rocking around. I could have put, I could have put a shim in there to sort of space it out, but I kind of wanted to just put a real CPU in just so it looks like it's got a real CPU, because you can actually see the CPU underneath the CPU cooler, only very slightly, and I don't think anyone's going to ever notice it. But again, for the illusion of it being a working PC, I want to try and do what I can to make it fulfill that illusion.
And they see through suitcases and stuff, don't they? So
yeah,
you've got to pack the appropriate stuff.
Yeah, now this is right. This is the extent that some art directors will go. Mitch, if you're watching this still, probably headphone time, or turn off the volume, and when I go like that, that means you can turn the volume back up. So art directors sometimes can get really like into what they're doing, and for some people, if you're watching a TV show or a film and you appreciate the attention to detail, especially like in background things like Doctor Who, books in the background, all that kind of stuff, like set dressing, it's definitely a thing. Mitch sometimes would take things a little bit too far, and other art directors as well. So we had a situation where there was a coach of people that were, I can't remember what was happening, I think it was going to catch on fire, the coach, or have a crash or something. So there's like a bunch of people on the coach, like 50 odd people on the coach. And
wasn't that one?
Did he do that one? Oh no, that was someone else, yeah. So yeah, this is something else. Someone went on a honeymoon, that was it. Well done, Kath. And I'm getting the two mixed up.
I put it all away.
And yeah, they were going on a honeymoon, so they had to pack their bags. Now most people would be just like, right, grab, I don't know, a couple of bottles of water, a couple of blankets, a cushion or whatever, chuck it in there,
Just so it looks
just to
like
give it a little bit of weight and to bulk it out a little bit. But no. Mitch went round, picked out the...
I'm not even sure it's Mitch.
I think it was the overnight bag, toothbrush, toothpaste, two toothbrushes, obviously because they're going away. Yeah, basically went through the whole thing, like a book to read on the journey, some paracetamols, his clothes, her clothes, deodorant, all that stuff, all packed away into the suitcase, which was going to be sealed. It was never going to be opened, but just to make it look and feel realistic. And it's like, me and Kath were the unlucky bastards who had to put all this shit away after it was done with.
Second.
Me and you, well, Kath would put stuff away, I would observe and manage. But yeah, it was one of those things that, like, come on, you're making work for us now just for the sake of it. No one's going to see it. Just put a bloody blanket in there and a bottle of water and be done with it. Anyway, there you go. Thank you, Mark Gaines, for the £5 super chat. What do you say there? The Zotac GTX 1060 only has one fan. I'm currently doing a Project Zero build, nice, with MSI B650M and a Magpano M100R case in white. Very nice, Mark. I am desperately waiting for there to be a Project Zero or Asus BTF motherboard for AMD in full-size ATX. I'm really keen to get my Intel 13900K out of that computer over there and replace it with something else, but I do really want to go with a BTF if I can. So Asus, if you're watching or listening, not that you will be, please can I have a tough gaming BTF B650E? Thank you. That would be great.
TV can send it to save you a working one.
How long is that going to take to get here though? What's the shipping?
Where is that? Fast shipping, delivery 25th to the 1st.
Yeah, that is the trouble. Dave, that's a great idea. Dave's just sent a link. You can't see it, but it's on Kath's screen for like an A8, whatever it was, 9600. So a really old AMD processor, which could go on the board, but that's $695. By the time you add on postage and also shipping, which is going to be a bit VAT, and also it's going to not be here for a week or two, cutting it kind of fine, and to save kind of £10. But I appreciate saying that. If anybody's got an AM4 processor which is dead and they don't want it, let me know. If you want to send it in, we'll use that instead and I'll save this. I would ideally like to save this, but it's one of those things I've budgeted for it in this build, so kind of it is what it is. But I figured this would be a little bit of a different kind of a feel to it, because normally we build a PC with certain things in mind, either be price, performance, size, like if it's an ITX or something. But for this is different. This is building to make it basically as silent and as idiot proof as possible, but to not work.
£8 from CX.
£8? Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. I found one on it. Well, I haven't. Who sent that?
That's Dave as well.
Dave sent it on CX. I might do that. I might have to pop into CX. Aletta says, wow, that was some loud thunder. Ooh. I don't like thunderstorms. They upset me immensely. Right, let's stick the overhead camera in. Let's put in our 3D printed RAM. So if you didn't see it already, there is our 3D printed RAM. I can't believe I'm actually doing this. We are supposed to be somewhat of a tech channel, and we're installing 3D printed RAM. This is beyond bizarre. It even clicks into place. Obviously, normally you do slots 2 and 4, but yeah, for this particular instance, it doesn't really make a great deal of difference at all. Someone's just messaged me on Discord, but I can't have Discord open. Oh, it's Kath. Sorry, I thought my PC pinged. Shady says, "What's back to front?" It's all where the connectors for the motherboard and the wiring are all on the back of the motherboard rather than being on the front. And being that I've got a BTF graphics card, I kind of have to use one. Yes, Kath?
Welly Bob says, got a triple fan GTX 980 big boy going, easily sprayed white, backplate the lot, add a 240 RGB AIO. Again, spray it white.
Ooh, looks like Welly Bob might be coming to the rescue there. Thank you, Welly Bob. I would like to put an AIO on there, really. I'm going to put the Assassin on there for now. But if because I want to get this done so I can send some footage over to Mitch so he can see what it looks like, and then if obviously if that isn't what he wanted or what he expected and he isn't impressed, then we can make some modifications. Yeah.
So it's not a laptop, is it? It's
He'll slam something down and get all uppity. Now,
I miss it doing that.
I don't think I have. I don't know if I have actually. An RGB M.2 cover. That isn't the end of the world. We can live without that. So there's the Assassin King, an absolutely cracking little CPU cooler. And again, it's been budgeted for, so I'm not too bothered. That is the thing about the television industry. It is exceptionally wasteful. So you kind of like, you can just spend money on stuff and it's like, well, yeah, whatever. A lot of the stuff that gets bought, especially for props, never gets used or never gets seen. And in fact, when we worked for, well, Kath wasn't working there at the time, but when I worked for Casualty, they actually did an entire 3-day shoot. They hired a beach and a helicopter and an ice cream van for 3 days to film these kind of dream sequences of one of the actors actually kind of dying but seeing these weird things on a beach and using a helicopter to get all these weird shots. I think it cost somewhere in the region about $250,000, and they didn't use any of it. They didn't like it in the end.
Cool Cat asked what's happening. 3D printed RAM, broken motherboard. Just got here.
I know. It's this is going to be a prop for a TV show. So the idea is that it doesn't work. That's the principle behind it. So we're fudging it so that this can be a very, very simple to use, but good looking computer, which can be turned on in the back of the set and just left to its own devices, not need any Windows updates, not need to do any BIOS stuff, never needs anything other than just turn on the power and choose whatever lighting style you wish for that particular day.
Jojo says this would really improve profits on Facebook Marketplace builds.
Yeah, it would.
JD said, I thought you'd have drawers overflowing with RAM sticks.
What's that?
Shady.
Yeah.
I thought you'd have drawers overflowing with RAM sticks.
I wish that was the case. I really do. No.
It needs the perfect amount of thermal paste, mind.
It does. They'll
see that.
They will see. Let's give it a little splidge.
What is the capacity of the RAM?
The RAM is typical. My thermal paste is empty.
Oh, they know that.
Yeah,
I know that. Didn't have enough.
I'll have to find another one. I'm not going to put some expensive or even remotely decent stuff in there because thermal paste is thermal paste. And saying that, I don't really want to get out my. Actually, did they send any? Is there any included? Oh, there is, isn't there? What do we get? TF4. That's actually quite good stuff. But I'll put a little bit because I'm probably going to take this out anyway. But we're going through the process, so let's just do it. So yes, this is I said this is a slightly bizarre thing to do. Just give it a hot tour. I should. Actually, for anyone who's interested, for those of you that are into your mouse pads, if you go over to Technically Stable,
Have you got the link in there?
I've just put it in there, and use the discount code Mike, you can get discounts off your mouse pads, but they also have a Hocktua design, which some people may appreciate. A Hocktua desk pad, what every house needs, eh?
10% off with your name.
Yeah, 10% off if you use the discount code Mike.
Welly Bob will send photos later.
Thanks, Welly Bob. Like I said, ideally, if the bits are broken, stroke, knackered, that is better. because then I don't have to feel so bad about wasting parts. Luckily with a lot of this, it can obviously be stripped down. It's not going to be blown up as far as I'm aware. So there is going to be the opportunity for some of this stuff to be reused at some point. So it's not like it's going to just a scrapyard for PC bits. What's the URL for the mouse pads? I'm not sure the exact one. If you're not too sure, if you message Technically Stable on Facebook and just tell them I sent you and that you're looking for the Hocktour mouse pads, they probably got them saved on file if they're not on the site at the moment. But I did see they did post it on Facebook a day or so ago, and I was actually thinking, oh, I could get one of those. That's quite fun, and I could put it on the Mike's Unboxing advertising budget, which is currently at the moment set to about 3p.
Why does it need Thermaltake paste?
Because you lot asked me to. It doesn't need thermal paste, obviously. It's never going to work.
And they're all saying it's overkill to do that.
It is overkill, but somebody else asked for it, so I went with the peer pressure and I did it. Like a lot of us, I submit to peer pressure.
Why don't you put the peak GPU in the lower PCIe 16 times slot and see how many complaints come in?
Oh, that would be great. The thing is, the complaints wouldn't come to me. They'd come to Mitch.
That's alright.
Or they'd come to the production. Yeah, then Mitch would be on the phone. Why did you do that? You've made me look an idiot. It's like, well, it's not entirely my fault.
We were egged on.
We were egged on by our viewers.
And he hated me laughing at your horrible idea.
Oh god, yeah. Whenever I had bad ideas, Kath would laugh her ass off, and Mitch would get really upset. It would get him more riled, the fact that Kath would be G'ing me on. Poor old Mitch.
Putting a Wi-Fi card on it.
No, I am definitely not going to put a Wi-Fi card on it. I was considering it. I was actually looking for one earlier, which I thought I had here still, but it seems to have somewhat disappeared. Anyway, there we go. So there is the basically the kind of the finished article. Which
Matthew Day says he was kidding about the paste.
oh, you were kidding, were you? Right. Now you say.
Printed RAM clearance. Print slimmer RAM.
It doesn't. Yeah. There's just so much, like 3D printing your own RAM is just such a bizarre concept, isn't it? Right, let's get these fans out of the way because I'm going to get the case out now and we'll start putting that together. The case is one of the things that I'm actually a little bit kind of like, but then I understand entirely because when I worked on the show, there was on Casualty, there was a scene they had to do for a character called Big Mac, played by
That bloke.
Fucking hell, can't think what his name is now. Charles Dell. No, Charles Dell. Yeah, Charlie Dell, isn't it?
No idea.
I'm sure it's Charles Dell.
He was in Coronation.
Or was that who was in Neighbours? I'm pretty sure it's Charles Dell. Anyway, he played Big Mac or Mackenzie Chalker in Casualty, and he was supposed to be somewhat of a geek. So one of the art directors came to me at the time and said, right, if you had the choice of what PC you'd have in your bedroom, whatever, what would you have? What case would it be in? So I said, oh, it'd be one of these, the new Antec 900 with its massive big boy fan on the top and the 3 fans at the front. And he said, well, how much is that? So I said, well, about 80, 90 quid at the moment. So he's like, all right, you get it, you set it up, we'll use it as a prop. When we're done, you can have the case. It's like, get in, I will have some of that. So yeah, that is basically what happened. So we've got the PC, I've wired it all up, put some cold cathode lighting, remember that back in the day? So we put some cold cathode lighting tubes in there, so it looked cool. And yeah, they used it literally in one shot, and after they gave it to me, which they probably shouldn't have done. But what the hell? Never look a gift horse in the mouth.
What was it?
Hmm?
What was it you got?
Remember the black Antec cases we had, the 900s? We had 4, didn't we, at one point? Because you had one, I had one. There's one in the front room, and George had one. So yeah, the Antec 900. That was because at the time it was really expensive. The first one that I had was from the BBC. I got a feeling actually they made me pay something towards it, like a token payment of like 30 quid or something, but just so it looked legit on the books. I also had a pair of Nikes as well. That was a good one. There was a guy who worked for the BBC. Actually, I'm not going to say his name because it could get him into trouble. But basically, one of the characters was selling drugs. So they had a bunch of cash and a bunch of like ill-gotten gains underneath their bed. And they just happened to have a really nice pair of Nikes in size 9. So I said, oh, when the shoot's done, can I buy those? They're like, yeah, no worries. So these were like, I think they're about 120 quid worth of trainers. And he come around with the bill at the end. He said, oh, I'm just finalising the stuff up. Do you still want the trainers? It's like, oh yeah, just tell me how much it is. And I'm pretty sure they were like 20 or 30 quid or something stupid like that. I was like, yep, that works for me. But it was back in, for a lot of things, it's cheaper for the BBC to not store all this shit because obviously it costs money to store it all. So if they can get a token gesture for it when the filming's done and it's basically not worth anything anymore, then yeah, there are some potential bargains to be had.
So no images need to be generated by the prop PC for a screen monitor on set?
Nothing whatsoever.
It just needs to light up.
It just needs to light up, exactly. Yeah.
Any images will be...
Any images will be done by a separate laptop via HDMI or something into the monitor. So let's take the glass off because we're not going to need that. And so this is the case, the Thermaltake View 270.
Real tower towers.
Real tower. This is what he liked. This is what he liked the look of. So this is what we got to work with. So let's take the back panel off. Oh God, I did those screws up too tight, I think. Nope, I got it. I've had my Weetabix today. Shady says, oi, that's our blooming license fee. It was. I do feel some regret, but not a lot. When you see how much TV companies waste, it's ridiculous. Like when you think a single episode, I think of Breaking Bad, cost £3 million to make. Now, if you think about what it is they did in a lot of those episodes, there wasn't really a lot going on. So they spunked a lot of money there. But we don't care. Because we enjoy the picture and we didn't have to pay the money ourselves. We just pay the subscription charge to watch it. So let's get the power supply stuck in. Now with the power supply, I'm debating whether to do this fan side up. For the fact that you never know where these people are going to put a PC and it may be starved of air underneath. So I'm going to put it actually face up, which I wouldn't normally do. But at least this way I know it's guaranteed to get some air. It might not be a lot, but it will get some. See, this is the sort of things that you have to consider when you're building a PC which isn't for a normal use. And the thing is, this has probably got to run for maybe, I don't know, a few years. And just be the power switched on and off once or twice a day. Or maybe more, depending on what they're filming.
It's not a one-off episode of it.
As far as I know, it's an ongoing children's TV show.
So
but
this could be...
I don't honestly know. Rick H says, I like stupid fish tank cases. When I said to Mitch, I said, how about one of the fish tank style cases? He's like, what, with actual fish in it? It's like, well, I suppose we probably could. I don't think that's in the budget though.
You could stick some on.
I'll 3D print some.
Oh.
I thought Mike was going to make the PSU modular, snip snip. Do you know what? That had crossed my mind. And I am still umming and ahhing about doing that. but I think I will just cable manage stuff in there, because again, at some point this may actually be needed to be actually a practical PC, in which case I can just take the guts out of it and rebuild it. Because that's another thing that the TV crews quite often will do. At some point they'll give you a design brief and then something will change and they'll say, well, actually no, we need it to do this. Or they'll probably come out with the this is likely what's going to happen. They'll come to a point and they'll say, it'll be in the script so that one of the kids puts a DVD in the drive, and they'll be like, oh my god, that's not going to happen. We don't have a DVD drive. It's impossible. But they'll say, no, we need it to happen, so put a DVD drive in it. At which point we probably get busy with a Dremel down here. Okay, there we go. Power supply is in. So I suppose the next thing we should do really is put the motherboard in. And get a feel for it, see what it's like.
I don't know what a DVD is.
Yeah,
Art directors do know that.
yeah, art directors don't understand that.
They still have bookshelves of DVDs, I expect.
But yeah, whenever they would dress a kid's room, especially like with like a PlayStation or an Xbox or something, they'd have like a ton of DVDs in a DVD rack and a CD rack. And it's like, anyone who's got kids here who's watching, how many of your kids actually have a CD rack or a DVD rack in their bedroom? Like, everything's digital. And even back then when we worked there, like 5-10 years ago, however long it was now, even then it's like MP3s were and MP4s and downloads were the thing, or file sharing. It wasn't quite the Napster era, let's be honest, but yeah, file sharing is definitely a thing. Kids don't know what a DVD is. They really, really don't. And good, because DVDs are a bygone thing, aren't
Only
they?
if the kid is 25. I don't think even our kids have watched the DVD, have they? For
Yeah.
how long?
I don't think we've actually got anything in the house which is capable of actually watching a DVD. Right, so we've got an I/O shield, unfortunately. I can't wait to benchmark this. It's not going to take any time at all.
Touched on 38 years with my boss last week.
What's that? 38 years what?
With my boss last week.
Wow. That's impressive.
It's longer than us.
When you say your boss, do you mean your boss or your partner? Sometimes you can't quite understand people, where they're coming from. Dutch Jan. Dutch Jan, is that his wife then? Been with her for 38 years, or his actual work boss?
My boss.
My boss.
That's his wife then.
Yeah, but that doesn't help. My boss could be anything. You have to clarify. I can't tell from the tone of your text. Work boss.
No, he hasn't put that.
Oh, he hasn't.
So
No.
that would explain it.
Yeah, say work boss or home boss. Then they know what we're on about. Unless you work from home, in which case we're fucked. Dear.
With my wife 36 years. Aww.
Wow. Been with your boss longer though. Rasher says, my wife told me to stop impersonating a flamingo, but I had to put my foot down. Oh, where's Ugly Bob? I miss his bad jokes. Bless him.
Oh, I bet you do miss him on a Friday.
Yeah.
Crap joke Friday.
Sheedy says, have to cover up the MSI logo. That's product placement. Hopefully there's going to be like some opaque film over this, so we shouldn't need it too much. I might need some white blanking brackets on the back. If not, it's going to be gaffer tape.
But don't you get 12 told off as well for covering up logos?
Yeah, actually, if you cover up a logo, say for instance like it's an Apple device, and you deliberately cover up where the Apple logo is, you can actually get into more trouble, especially if the product is something which looks and like is an iconic piece, such as an iPhone or a Apple Mac, because people know what an Apple Mac looks like. So if you're covering up the logo, they know, like Apple will be like, whoa, why are you defacing our product? So you do get into some weird positions with that. I think actually with this motherboard, I'm tempted to go with the black and white cable extensions.
Ads cover in the chat, really annoying. Is it on a phone or a computer? Because on a computer you can press the up arrow on the ad and it pushes you.
Can you?
There.
Ah. I didn't know that.
You've got to be a bit techie.
I wish I was. My life would be so much easier.
Print the ads up.
Can't 3D print the ads, no. I don't know if that actually is going to help, is it, that RGB thing? Because that only does it 90 degrees. We really want it to do another 90 degrees out as well.
David Underhill.
No, I'm not doing that. Hey, David Underhill. How you doing? Right, I'm going with the black and white ones.
Bad joke, the Barefoot Tech has arrived.
Hey, Barefoot Tech. Change the MSI to MUB. It's not a bad idea. So, for anyone that's interested, you may or may not be, I don't know. We've been sent a new NAS review from Asus Store, and it's somewhat of a banger. Been using it today, and getting to grips with it. It's pretty good, and it's actually come at one of those really sort of perfect times, because our son has just had one of his hard drives in his computer fail, which actually had all of his video footage on for the videos that he makes, and we managed to recover a lot of it, but there's a lot of stuff which unfortunately looks like it was never going to come back. So yeah, having a NAS drive is one of those things where you never know you need one until you need one.
We get our Wolfman.
Right, that'll be. If I'd have dropped that, that would have been upsetting. Hi Wolfman. Last night my wife and I watched 2 DVDs back to back. Luckily I was the one facing the TV. That's quite good. Aletta, what did the fish say when it swam into a concrete wall? Damn. Matthew Day says, need to work the training combs. Oh no, we're not even going to worry about that. We're just going to bang these through. They're going to be fine. I'm just going to be like, la la la.
3D print of 2 terabyte SSD.
That would have been helpful. Yeah. It's a shame that actually the USB Type-C header and that's never going to be used, or the USB ports for that matter, or the on-off button. So I'm going to cable manage that up and out of the way. I suppose I should use white cable ties for this, but... Oh, I've got white cable ties supplied by Thermaltake. God bless you, Thermaltake.
Our Wolfman.
Alright, Wolfman. I can't read it.
A family walks into the bar. The barman says, sorry, we don't serve food here.
Dear Lord. It gets worse.
Andy Archer. Studies show that cows give more milk when you talk to them. In one ear and out the other.
Brilliant. Zero Defect says, I love a NAS. I do. I'll be honest with you, I will find it extremely hard to move away from the Synology ecosystem. Thank you. Yeah. The Synology ecosystem is the superior ecosystem. I think if anyone is being completely 100% honest and true, you will agree that the Synology ecosystem is the superior in terms of like the ready rolled NAS anyway. Obviously you've got other options when it comes to make your own, but for an actual kind of off the shelf number, a ready to use, ready to roll, the Synology ecosystem is by far the better choice for the majority of people in terms of software anyway. That is the trouble. A lot of other manufacturers, they go really heavy on the hardware to try and compete, but sadly a lot of them, especially kind of your QNAPs, your who's the other one? QNAP, Asus Store. Can't think of the other one. There's a couple of other brands as well which do NAS devices, but the software just hasn't really caught up. The hardware is really good, but the software just is somewhat lacking. What's that? Yeah. Actually, speaking of which, Andy Archer, I noticed you have got a NAS for sale on the Discord. And I did talk to George about that and saying, well, maybe you should ask Andy, because a little DS220 Plus would be perfect for him, just for backing up his video files over 2 drives. So yeah, you might, if you get an email or a message from Crazy Yo, that's our boy. So be nice to him. Or charge him double. I don't mind.
And then Mark James, what did the elephant say to the streaker?
Don't know. What did the elephant say to the streaker?
It's cute, but can it pick up peanuts? Matthew Day, man walks into a bar, says ouch, who put that bar there? Yeah.
It's getting worse.
Skeleton comes into the bar and says, a beer and a mop, please.
I got that.
Andy Archer, what do you call someone who can't stick with a diet?
Me. Mike.
A deserter.
A dessert. Nice. These jokes are getting better.
Our Wolfman, an angry man married an invisible woman. The kids were nothing to look at. I like that one.
It's getting worse. It really is.
Says white and black setup always wins.
It does, but I think they were wanting more of a pure white, but they'll get what they're given. I've got to try and think now. I always get this bit wrong when I'm doing the extension cables on these fans. Which end is which? Where the loop should be.
Andy Archer says, no problem, I can do door-to-door delivery.
Awesome. Is that? Daisy chain long cable.
Why are elevator jokes so good, Firestorm?
Go on.
Because they work on so many different levels.
Oh dear. It's not getting any better.
This one's worse, Thrasher. I've been taking Viagra for my sunburn. It doesn't cure it, but it keeps the sheets off my legs at night.
Calf like that one.
Brilliant. Bartender says we don't serve time travellers in here. The time traveller walks into the bar. Hello, Candy.
Hello, Candy.
Okay. Okay, come say hello.
Hey, Candles.
Currently on the table. Look, there we go. What's all that?
My thoughts exactly.
Is it my lap for a bit?
It's getting hot in here again. 25 degrees and 50.3 humidity. 53, sorry. Whatever I said was wrong. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the daisy chain on these. Which way they go. Ow. That's sharp. So how many do I need? I've got 1, 2, 3, so 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's about, so I need another 2.
I just watched a documentary on marijuana. I think all documentaries should be watched this way.
That's pretty good.
Charles Ballard said, I just looked at the whole, whatever it is.
Looked at what? Hawk Tour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mouse mat, not bad. I wouldn't pay a dime for it, but it's not bad. I'd rather upload my own design. But they do let you.
Fair enough. Yeah, you can do. Yeah, you can upload your own designs on there.
Come on then. Yeah.
It's pretty good in that respect. So normally with these, mounted on the side here, they would be done in the kind of the reverse blade, but again, for what this is doing, it doesn't really make any difference whatsoever which way around they're mounted. So they will be going in the wrong way technically, but the right way for our purpose. So now we've got 24 screws to do, 23 screws to do. And at least we don't have to worry about anything overheating as well, because nothing's actually going to be running as such, apart from a little bit of lighting. So that's good stuff. And actually, while I'm doing this, I can look at your comments and questions. Ira Wolfman, what's Forrest Gump's computer password? 1 Forrest 1. I'm going to change mine. That's pretty cool. What's the advantage of living in Switzerland? Well, the flag, it's a big plus. I do get that. Are these running the right way or not? I don't know. I'll be fine. It'll be fine. This is something which annoys me actually with these Thermaltake fans. That the white ones they sent out with black screws. So why would you do that? That's just being just petty-minded. Send out the bloody white ones, or the chrome ones at least. I'm trying to read the comments, but I'm struggling to do this as well. Nice one, William Bodie. A man walks into a bar with a piece of asphalt under his arm and says, a beer please and one for the road. That is good. This is actually an incredible waste of fans in here. But hey ho. The real fun is going to be actually trying to get the fan controller and get all the wires to the fan controller over in that bottom corner. Because that's going to be probably 4... I suppose I could reduce it down to 3. So 1 from the back, which will go from the top over, 2 from the side. Yeah, 3 separate controls, I think. Oh, yeah, the 4th one being the CPU. I am starting to regret this already, to be honest. So, let's have a look at the daisy chain setup. This is really frustrating with the daisy chain on this, because Thermaltake have made it so that you can basically do kind of anything you want with them, which actually makes it harder, because this long section has a female end. So yeah, this is the one that goes into the controller. Yeah, of course it would be. So female there. So when it comes to RGB, is that going to be the same deal? Let's have a look. So that is going to be the motherboard end with the pass-through. So yeah, this is going to be the male going into the female. Now luckily with this, because it's going in the male, I'm going to put on the Thermaltake snap connectors to hold the RGB lighting in place. So even if you pull that apart, they won't come out. That is a pretty important thing, because otherwise you end up with your PC arriving at its destination, nothing working, and a very irate Mitchell on the phone saying, "Oh, you baldy bastard, why is none of this working?" Well, excuse me, that's Mr. Baldy Bastard to you. There would definitely be tears. It's actually, when you're on a TV set, it is a pretty high pressure environment. It's very stressful. Everyone enjoys it, they say, but they don't really. It's a shitty job, it really is. So yeah, with these, just daisy chain all the fans across. Is actually, for this instance, it's easier to do it outside of the case because it's a little bit tight to get to it there. So squeezing my little stumpy fingers in there after the fact would be rather problematic. So there we go. There are our daisy chain fans. So we're going to have, at the end, got these two long cables, which will probably end up coming out totally the wrong place. Actually, no, they'll come through there, so that'll be okay. We should be pretty much good to go. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. Feeding all the wires through, and then trying to keep this whole lot stuck together whilst I try and put some screws in to hold it in place. Just grab a bunch of screws and we'll do that. Trust me to pick a night where it's absolutely roasting hot. Yeah, hopefully this is going to be what Mitchell wants. I think it will be. I know we laugh and joke, but he's a pretty decent geezer, pretty amenable. And ultimately, if he wants more, it's just going to cost more. Oh, you bastard. David Underhill says, hot? UK doesn't get hot. No, it just gets really muggy and like sweaty. It's horrible. And it's, the thing is as well, because we live in a country where it's rarely nice or warm, you never really get used to it, or you can never acclimatize for it. Which is a real shame. Oh, stay there. I just want to get this thing fired up and see what it looks like. And make sure that the fans can actually go quite quiet, because that is going to be a deal breaker if we can't get it quiet. And I did try the power supply very briefly yesterday whilst Dave was here. Worst case scenario, we'll have to put in something else, which possibly is going to be like a zero fan model, which there's not really that many zero fan models which are kind of cost effective, especially for this. Like, you're looking for a decent PSU with some form of 0 RPM is going to be 70 quid at least, which is absolutely pointless to spend that sort of money on this. Looks like we've got a cable gone astray there. I'm so glad that Thermaltake have swapped these out now for the new CT120 ARGB EX versions. They are much, much, much easier to use.
Mookie asked, how, I don't know if you've answered any of these.
I haven't seen much of it, sorry.
How does a prop builder charge for labour, or is it baked into the overall cost of the prop?
Yeah, it depends really. You can do it. The thing is, with the TV industry, it's all very kind of flexible. So there's not really like a specific rule. When it comes to construction costs for like a set build, you estimate it, but then generally as the set build goes, there are modifications and tweaks made to it. So you kind of get your base figure, so you know roughly what you're going to be spending, but it's not until really you get the final bill come through that you know exactly what it's cost. And generally as well, most set builders and set decorators, etc., will also be available on standby during the actual first few days of the production, just so they're there. So if there's any modifications that need doing, so say for instance there's a door that doesn't open how they want it to open, they will have someone on hand, like a chippy, standby chippy. They call it a standby, so anyone who's on set who it isn't their normal job to be there, it's normally like a standby. So you get standby props, standby art directors, standby chippies, standby decorator, and literally all they do is just wait there all day until something needs doing, which is a really boring job, unless there's lots of stuff that needs doing. But really, you kind of hope and pray nothing needs doing, because otherwise you've got the entire crew waiting for you to do whatever it is you need to do so they can get shooting, and they don't normally have much patience. Yeah, anyone who's considering a job in the TV industry, I would suggest do a couple of days on a show like for free. They love that, and see what you actually think of it, because it isn't quite what most people think it is.
It's the adrenaline rush of still having a job when it's a wrap. Most of them don't.
Yeah, no. Most people are freelance, so as soon as they say, right, that's a wrap, you're basically unemployed. Which some people like it because they can do a couple of weeks work and then take a month off and then look for something else. Or if they're good at their job, they'll generally be in demand, so they'll be kind of booked up. But because there's so many people chasing fewer and fewer jobs and with less and less budgets and all these types of things, like unless you get in with like a specific group of people or a production company, normally you're going to find yourself out of work more times than not.
You could add a mirror on the bottom to make it look like more fans.
That's not a bad idea. Right, I'm going to have to put some sort of little clip up there, I think, to hold those wires in place, because that looks a bit mucky. That's right, we can address that once it's all...
Back fan doesn't have the label up if that makes a difference in the key.
Oh, that's fine. If they get to looking in that closely, it's yeah, it's problem time. Okay, so we've got one more fan to put in the back, so I better put the extensions on there straight away. Although, I wonder if that'll stretch round far enough to be able to connect up to the top three. I don't normally like running 4 fans off of one header, but for this it might be okay.
Why said, are you ever going to stop singing Wonderwall? I said maybe.
That's quite good.
Dave Aiken did one just now. I phoned my wife earlier. I'm just setting off from work. Do you want to pick up fish and chips on the way home? I was met with dead silence. She still regrets letting me name the twins.
Good one. Right, I think I am going to just daisy chain these onto the back of those other ones. I am going to regret this, I'm sure.
Don't make the cable management too clean. You want the prop to look like a real PC someone built, not an OEM built PC.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah, I'll say that. I'll say, look, I built it and I've done it all really super tidy, but then I thought, well, I better distress the look a little bit so it looks like a teenager would have built it, or a kid would have built it. And for that, I'm only charging an extra £25.
Are they, is it that they've built it themselves, is it?
I don't know.
Umar says, can you reveal what TV show it's for?
I don't know is the honest answer. All I know it's a TV children's program which is filmed in Liverpool, as far as I know. At the moment, that's all I'm at liberty to say because I honestly don't know the rest. And I could be completely wrong. It might be something else, but that is the information that I have currently, which I believe to be correct. If I do find out, I will let you know.
Well, Ali says, if the TV show is on the BBC, only 1% of the UK will see it.
I don't think it is on the BBC. I think it's going to be an independent production or an independent TV channel. I think. Again, I could be
We don't watch TV because we
completely
don't have
wrong.
a TV licence. So we'll never see it on TV.
We'll never see it. Unless Mitch sends me a still. Right, why doesn't that not want to go in there? I told you I'd regret this. The regret is real already.
Will you be allowed to put a mud sticker in the case?
I probably would be, but I don't have any. So,
Peel it off all corners, rolled and stuff off your laptop.
yeah.
Off that cupboard. Oh, you've taken it off the cupboard behind.
Mitch would cry. He generally would cry at that, wouldn't
Well, add that on the bill.
he? Add it on the bill.
Unforeseen extra cost.
Unforeseen extra costs, MUB logo. Oh, come on. I said maybe.
Easter egg. Deliberate mistake.
Yeah. Deliberate mistake has got an Intel processor on an AMD motherboard. That'd be a good one. See, now I need to disconnect that bloody EPS cable in the top corner to make that wiring a bit tidier. I don't really, but I kind of do. Let's do the overhead so you can see. So this top corner now, if I just unplug that EPS, I can put it underneath that, and actually it'll come out quite easy. So that is going to be definitely a thing I'm going to do. Cables, schmables. Oh, come on. It'll come out easy enough, but it ain't going to go back in. Hey, Mitch Hammond, how you doing?
Our Wolfman did hear about the man who invented knock-knock jokes.
No? Go on.
The Nobel Prize.
That's quite good. Oh, I don't know why that just tickled me. That's quite funny.
Clap on the head.
You get a little clap, yeah. That clap there, that's almost as good as the Paul Hollywood handshake. Almost. Not quite.
Other camera, if you're gonna.
Oh yeah, main camera. Right, let's undo that.
A good build thus far, Mike. Very professional. Notice when it doesn't have to work, it's not thicker.
Yeah. Why does that... Oh, that bottom one don't come out, does it? Bastard. Why does that... Oh, they haven't cut it, have they? Oh, that's a nose. Oh well, can't be helped. So the controller for the fans goes into a PCI slot, which I was hoping to get one as low down as physically possible, but it doesn't appear that is going to be possible. And it doesn't seem to want to fit into the back bracket there. Oh, yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, it's a little bit flimsy, I suppose. Let's get a screw in there. That should firm it up a little. Hey, Deathstroke! Right, that's the wrong thread. Right said Fred.
Mitch says, no luck with the Expo settings and a million combinations I tried in the BIOS. Well, several, not millions.
I told you a million times not to exaggerate. Oh, come on. Thread, you swine. Right, so it is a thick or coarse thread. So why does that not want to thread then? It does with that one. How strange.
Brilliant, Bodie. I once wanted to become an atheist, but I gave up. They have no holidays. Deathstroke asks, how are you all doing?
We are, yeah, I think we're pretty good in general. Oh, bollock. I mean, technicals. I've just realised the fan controller needs a power cable going to it, so it isn't going to look quite as clean as I'd hoped. Oh well. Unforeseen. Yeah, hopefully you're okay. We're good. I think, aren't we, Kath?
Yeah.
We okay? I'm pretty sure we're okay. I think we are. We're getting there. Right. Let's spin this round. And let's have a look at the spaghetti junction. So, in terms of actually turning the PC on and off, we're not going to have the PC turning on and off. So I'm just going to put a block connector on there so that the power supply is set to be permanently live. Where is my tester? So I'll stick on one of these, a tester. Just stick that on the end there. So that is going to grind the pins to make the power supply active. So as soon as there's power, turn on the switch, everything will jump it to life. That's the theory. So in terms of power requirements, we need a SATA connection for the addressable RGB controller. We don't need the PCI Express, but we do also need a Molex, which is on here, I think, and there's a SATA on there as well. So I might just use one of those cables, but we'll see what we can do. I want to try and cable manage some of this stuff out the way. I am really genuinely quite tempted just to actually snip the wires off, but it might be necessary at some point for it to actually work. That hasn't been kind of, well, it has been kind of thought about by me, just in case. Because if I turn around and say, well, if you want to work in one, it's going to have to be a start from scratch. That's not really the sort of answer that I want to give. I'll be like, yep, I did consider that, so it's only going to cost you blah, blah, blah. So those cables can go. They are not required, so I'm going to tuck those just under there for now. When I say for now, I mean they will always be there until our dying days. And actually, that
Until the postage get hold of it.
Until the post office get it and absolutely destroy it. Yeah. So actually, all that can go in there. That's fine. So yeah.
I'd like to know where to look for this all show and no-go PC.
Like I said, I don't know myself.
All show and no-go.
All show and no go.
You're all show and no-go's ready for collection.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. If I knew what the program was, I would be tempted to tell you, but I honestly have no idea.
Rick always loves some Molex connectors.
I don't. I'm not overly keen on them, I'll be honest with you.
NDA.
There isn't really an NDA, I just don't know. Whether or not I'm actually allowed to say it, I don't know. If I knew, I would probably blurt it out or just give you like a gentle hint. Right, so it seems I can't use one of the channels because that is in the way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there we go. So those fans in the top are on channel 1. So what I'll do is I'll put a little sticker on the back saying top, just so they know which one controls which one. So I think that'd be helpful. And CPU. Where is the CPU fan? Hang on. RGB from somewhere. That must be from the CPU fan. We've got another RGB there, and that is there should be another fan connector, should there not? Where did that go? There. No, that's RGB. Oh, the fan connector's on the bloody motherboard. I plugged it in, didn't I? Dumbass. And I bet that ain't going to be long enough to either go to the controller either. Oh no, it's not going to be long enough, is it? Scheisse. Right, so gonna have to backtrack that slightly. Oh no, actually no, I've saved the budget for another extension, so I've got a spare extension so I can use that, because we joined 4 fans together rather than 2. So I have actually got another extension, so we're all good. Don't panic, Mr. Mandarin. Right, top. Let's do that as middle. And run that out the back. Oh dear. This is like thinking on the go. It's actually been a long time since I've had to do any stuff like this. And like the stuff that we do here for ourselves is a little bit different, because we've got a bit more control over it. But when we were on Casualty, it was it's actually quite difficult at times, because people would ask you for stuff and they'd ask you for the impossible.
And then they'd ask you again.
And then you say, well, I can't do that. That's just impossible. You can't do it. And then they'll come back about an hour later and say, Mike, can you do such a... It's like, you've just asked me the same thing. You've just worded it differently. No, it still can't be done. Leave me alone. Crazy bastards. Okay. I do need to cut a wire, which I don't really want to do, but it's a bit late now. I suppose I could have just depinned it, but... And then when you get to the last cut and you think, oh crap, I needed to cut it off the other end.
We've been there.
Done that. We've all done that, haven't we? No, just me. Just me. So what I'm doing here, I'm putting the power through for the actual fan controller, whilst getting stuck on the pins from the USB at the bottom. Oh, well, that's never going to work. It's only a little bit bent. Oh, could have done without ketchup and mustard now. The reality is, I don't think anyone's going to see much of this animation, like I said before. It'll be all show, no go. Let's pass that through there. Cable manage that into there. La la la, can't see it, it's fine. Oh. That is going to have to go down in there to keep the... oh, that does look horrible. It looks horrible. I'm not pleased with that. You can make up your own minds. Sometimes you just have to say what the actual...
What's your special effects budget, Mike?
My special effects budget is about £2.40. And that's probably overestimating it. I'm now wishing, I actually was supposed to order another one of these in white. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is the black version.
Sharpie on those cables will sort
I think I will Sharpie eyes those cables at some point.
Looks okay. It's propped. Okay.
Yeah, it's. I know. I am overthinking.
Viali, doesn't Viali usually?
I am overthinking it.
Viali and Dutch Jan, isn't it? Usually that gang up on you.
What, to say that it looks like crap, or
Is it Viali?
I don't know, but we'll blame them anyway. We'll blame them for my low self-esteem. Can you open the window? It's bloody boiling in here. Thank you.
There's a moth there looking at your head.
A mott. Right, so again, female end. I must remember this.
Black and white. All they will care about is the RGB.
Yeah.
Mixed colours makes it look like it's a real PC build by a team.
I will tell Mitch that. He won't believe me, but I will tell him that. No, bless him. Mitch is good as gold. He really is. I give him some stick, but he's, considering where he's from, he's yeah, he's lovely. Cass, she like that.
Oh, Mitch is so sweet.
Mitch is from Birmingham, but he's not. He's from the Midlands.
West Midlands.
West Midlands, sorry, which isn't Birmingham.
We've been told many times.
We were told numerous occasions that that isn't Birmingham. The West Midlands is not Birmingham.
And they've got a cool safari park.
Yeah. You're always Mitch. Oh dear, we had some fun, didn't we? Not that day. The sound of connectors snapping into place. My favourite. Right, a little bit of cable management to be done there, but overall I think we're winning the battle now. So I've got my last cable to go into the fan controller, which I want to put under there. So this is going to be on the next channel. So that is going to be channel 3, I think. The thing is, it doesn't really matter what channels I put them on, because they'll probably break it anyway, like within hours of having it. I am sort of expecting that. So I think we could probably try it now, just to make sure that the fans actually work. This,
Can you make it explode like in movies?
yeah. That might happen.
Silent timer.
Shall I put a little countdown timer on there so it comes up and they'll be like, what's that do?
Bang. Do it with my voice coming out.
Bang! And the dirt is gone.
Which GPU do you put in it?
I don't know. The GPU is still like open air. It might not need one, but I think I would like one in there just to kind of fill it out a little bit.
David Underhill, the UK is size of small Aussie farm.
Hey! I know that. Oh no, there's RGBs on the fan controller as well.
How much would you charge for this on Facebook Marketplace? No matter what, someone will offer a silly trade.
Yeah, that's true. So that works. We have fans that move, and they can be turned down to a bare minimum, or even stop. So yeah, they'll love that, the fact that they can have a little bit of control over the fans so they can move if they want to. Also as well, you have to bear in mind that because they're using cameras and they're filming on this, depending on the frame rate, sometimes they like it so the fans aren't spinning at a certain speed, because otherwise they look like they're going backwards, or they strobe, which they don't like. So the fact that they've got the kind of granular control from here on the back is absolutely great for a production side of things.
Deathstroke, can anyone confirm / deny a scroll wheel issue on Edge with Corsair mouse, or is it something else? What was that mouse I had that would just like do its own thing?
Yeah, Caf had a Corsair M365, was it? Or M65? I used to do some weird stuff.
M5? Not just the anyway.
Yeah, could be. Anyway, the fans work as expected with fan control, although there's LEDs on the bottom I'm not overly pleased about, but I suppose it's LEDs, so whatever. Andy Archer says, best performing 3200G ever. It really is. It really, really is. Okay, so let's do a little bit of cable mismanagement in the back here, because this is looking pretty bad at the moment. So let's put it on the back and put the overhead on. So we want to tidy this up a little before we go ahead and do the RGB. So not sure if I could stick that down. I could do some of these little sticky pad fixers again, but I've run out of them. Balls.
What are those?
Those little squares that you stick down and put the cable ties through, or the clip-on fixers. They'd be pretty good in there. Yeah. Right, so that's going to have to be a work in progress. I'll have to sort something out of that. I might have to buy some tomorrow. I didn't put those on the budget. Let's get some clear cable ties. It's a possibility. I wouldn't rule it out. That's the longest cable tie for the shortest cables.
William Bodie, does the PC have to work too? If not, can you not use the broken motherboard?
It is a broken motherboard. So yeah, you're right. It doesn't need to work, and it really doesn't. That's that kind of in place. Need another cable tie at the top. Where do I put my cable ties?
Can't blame the cats because they're not in here.
I blame myself. A bag of there we are. They blended in a little bit too well. So the 12 volt EPS at the top, I can just bang that into there. I don't know why I accepted this really, because I used to always really work. That was the one thing which really did my my mental health not good at all. With all this stuff that was on the set at Casualty, because it was all my responsibility, and it didn't really matter if it was my day off or not, they would still phone and be like, Mike, I can't do this, or computers stopped working in Resus 2. What do we do? So, so I was always like kind of on standby, waiting for that call. And I'm kind of revisiting that at the moment. This is one of my kind of tracks.
Therapy,
yeah.
Stand back and go, that's not my problem.
Yeah, that's not my problem. Screw you, Ivy.
Which you should have said all those years ago.
Yeah. Right, let's put the RGB wires at the top. Not in my drink. This isn't going to be particularly pretty cable management, but it doesn't need to be, it just needs to be functional. And to stop any wires getting dislodged or damaged in transit, which could happen. Charles Ballard says, as long as I have you all here, I want you to all know that if I wake up on Tuesday morning, I will be 2 weeks, 1 day from my 58th birthday, and will have officially beaten my mother in longevity. Well, congratulations and also commiserations, I guess, for one side of that and for the other. I hope you know what I mean. Probably didn't explain that particularly well. Then you should expect that from me by now. Yeah, Kath's not got long to go before she goes past her dad's age. How old was Robin? 56. There's no age, is it? It's funny isn't it, how things like sometimes remind us of our own mortality. Davis Benchmark says, hi guys, what's the TV show the prop PC will be on? It's going to be on the new Breaking Bad movie. They're doing a remake. Walter apparently lived and went to Chechnya.
Where?
Chechnya.
You made that up? Is that a real place?
Yeah. And they were selling the crystal meth over there. This is going to be Walter White's daughter's PC. Of course, I'm joking. Don't take any of that seriously. It's for Walter White's son, not his daughter. This PC is broken bad. It has. I still do love the whole Breaking Bad thing. That was a very good TV show.
What do you mean you still remember it? You watched it the
I
other
didn't say I remember it.
What did you say?
I said I still like it. It's really good. I still think it's really good.
You want to watch it the first time?
I didn't. The first season was shit,
And then
but it got better.
you watched it 4 times now, haven't you?
Yeah, I watch it if I'm bored or if I'm watching or if I'm eating my food or something. It's quite a nice thing to watch and just unwind.
But when you think he's watching one episode, it's usually like a whole series.
I often fast forward it. Alexis has never seen Breaking Bad. You'd like it. You'd appreciate it. It's very American.
They just put too many characters and things that you forget who is who, and it gets confusing.
And the fact that it was based on loosely based around a true story. Was yeah, pretty cool. Although I think the real Walter White that it was based on, he was actually a meth head as well.
But I think the only thing that got you to watch it was that car that blew up at the petrol station.
Yeah.
It's the same as what you had at
Yeah,
the time.
the only reason I got into it is because he, well actually spoiler alerts, he damaged a car at the beginning of one of the episodes.
One of the episodes, you should know which one exactly.
I have no
It's the
idea.
first one, isn't it?
No. It's quite early on. Right, that needs some tape on there to hold it down, so I have to work on that. But we're okay, we're okay. Right, let's get the RGB controller. So the RGB controller we're using is this one, the Gamemax, which I wonder if it's metal enough. Actually, that'll go in there. If I get rid of the drive cage, because no doubt someone's going to want one of those one day. There is a super chat from Rashar. Hello, Rashar. 20 euros says, your recent video, how to clean, install and set up Windows 11 without Microsoft account, was exactly what I needed for a PC I'm selling. Thanks, Mike and Gav. You are very welcome. That video, I don't think it's got the one with the, there's a full install as well. And that isn't quite out yet, I don't think. But yeah, there's a video which is going to be really quite handy, I think, for a lot of people. Right, so we don't need the ARGB hookup, so I can disconnect that. Less wires is good. And we've got our SATA plug, which is there. Actually, do I want to run it all off of one SATA? No, let's run it off of two. And I'll stuff that in there for now. So all we need for this is power. Although I suppose I could wire up the reset button as well, couldn't I? Which I've conveniently already cable tied away over here. Oh, I can't do the reset button because it's a bloody moulded cable. Shithid. So no, that's not going to happen.
Rick H. I hacked my registry so I wouldn't ever get Windows 11. Also disabled TPM on my PCs.
I don't know if, I think TPM is probably quite a good idea in some respects, but if you're not using any form of encryption or anything, it's probably not really worthwhile. I understand where Microsoft are headed with some of the things they're trying to introduce. It's just they seem to always go an ass backwards way about doing it all the time, which just upsets people.
That's right. Got brother-in-law to purchase a Windows 11 CD key the other day using your link.
Hey, thank you.
To say the key worked 3 times.
What's that? Would it be bad to say the key word 3 times?
Yeah.
Nah, that's fine. Hey, I don't care. It's not. I'm not going to hold people down to buying licenses. Christ, if you can get a license to work multiple times, then yeah, go for it. Whether or not it will stay activated is another thing, because quite often when the PCs kind of do their phone home type scenario, that's when you start losing licenses, and it says there is a problem with this Windows activation. Please activate your Windows. But yeah, if it works for a bit, no worries, and if it works indefinitely, even better.
Mookie, on the set, will they need to remove the back panel to adjust fan speed, stroke RGB, or does the remote do both?
There's little dials on the back which I've just installed, which will be for controlling the fan speeds. So they've got modular control over every fan.
Without taking the back on? Without
taking the back. They've just got to reach around. I'll show you them shortly. When we fire this up properly, we'll see it. It's weird, isn't it, how RGB lighting is what takes up like at least 50% of the time for the build on the PC these days. Although, well, it doesn't really, but it depends who's doing it, I suppose. I'm going to disconnect that. Let's run that wire under there for no reason at all. Actually, oh, cable tie's gone missing. That one hasn't been budgeted for. I will go around with this with hot glue or some adhesive, just so it doesn't come off in transit. Yeah, we're getting there. Very much getting there. Those can stay there, and we'll have to deal with those later, actually. We'll put that one a bit further down. It's a bit neater. Hey!
Do you remember V?
I do, yeah. 1984. 1984.
Russia was asking.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a great series. I really did enjoy that. Actually, it was one of those series which it seemed like it went on for ages and ages and ages, but in reality, it was only about 6 episodes, I think, or was it 3 episodes, like a mini series over a week? Can't remember. I remember the program, and remember being a bit terrified because I was quite young.
Remember watching one on holiday? Food, there's a bowl there. Not much in it.
There we go. I think we're pretty good here. I think this is, yeah, we're done. I'm going to put the back panel on. And I can't believe I'm actually a little bit disappointed that there isn't a separate reset switch. Because in this instance, that would have actually made life a lot easier. Or at least offer up potential, because if for some reason the lighting goes a bit weird, they can always press the reset button to reset it. Hence why it's called a reset button. Okay, let's move this out of the way and we'll plug in some power. And let's do the main camera. So there we go. You can see the slightly finished look. This looks a bit ugly, but the cable combs are a bit knackered, so kind of is what it is. I might have to put something down here to keep those wires in place, but I don't think that's too bad. It doesn't stand out hugely. So let's plug in said power and turn on the lights. And there we go. We have our light show. And if we put it into mode, there we go. That looks a bit dim actually. There we go. Yeah, the remote doesn't like being stuck behind that metal, I don't think. There we go. That's a bit brighter. So yeah, there we go. We've got some RGB going on in the top. We've got some RGB on the CPU cooler. And of course we've got the lights everywhere. Now to control it, for those of you who didn't see a little bit earlier, so we've got these fan controllers on the back. So turn them all that way. That one's not in use. So our fans come to a standstill. So if they want to, they can film it with just the lights going. If it's annoying the camera too much. Or if they want to kind of synchronize it with the camera, you can just turn the knobs on the back. Make them go as loud as they want. Dutch Jan says it's still an ugly fish tank. It's an ugly fish tank which hopefully is going to get me a few quid. So I can buy something different. And that's way too noisy, so I'll turn those down. And there we go. We can have what is effectively a silent PC. All at a fingertips control. Although, one of the fans is making a little bit of a weird noise, I think. Let's turn them all down. Well, they're fine. Now that's the CPU one. That's fine. Actually, what if it's that power supply? There's a little bit of a creak coming from the power supply, I think. No. Not what I'm imagining it. Okay, let's turn those down. So there we go. It's done. Completed. Completido. So I don't know whether I'm going to put in more RGB strips. Let's see what they look like. I don't think it's going to really add anything to the overall look. It's probably actually going to make it look worse. But I don't know, might. So if I could put a strip there. And let's just see. Oh. The adhesive is crap on there. I think I must have used that one before. Now this one's still got the original. No, it's not. We said they wanted light, lots of lighting. I'll take that to there. I can snip that wire off the end if it's not needed. That wire right there looks a little bit ugly, doesn't it? That can go down into there. I suppose really, it's a shame it hasn't got like a corner leg, because I could stick it there and then the light would cast inward. You don't really want it along there. I don't know. No, that would look a bit weird. I don't know if these are going to work out or not. I think they need it to be white to blend in a little bit more, not stick out. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think these would be good or not? Just say just run the fans at minimum and leave the controller in the basement. I did think about that actually. Actually, if I do it that way round, and I'm going to snip that wire there, which I'm probably going to regret instantly. But it's done now, so la la la. But they said they wanted RGB, so if somebody asks you for RGB, you don't just hold back. You give them the full thing. Mookie MC says go without. Can you fit the first LED strip behind the lower grille? Yeah, I suppose. Well, in here. Or in there, rather. I probably could, actually. But I don't think... no, because it's magnetic, so it would be facing inward, so it'd kind of have a inflection or reflection of itself. But possible, I think. Let's see what this looks like. Ultimately, like I said, it's going to be down to Mitch to see what he wants to do. I don't know if that adds anything to it or not. And the thing is, what you've got to remember is what we want as a PC is probably completely different from what they want as a bit of a light show on a TV set.
Right.
I don't know. Does that add anything? I suppose it needs to be diffused, really, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe if it was up here. I don't know if that works then. And you remember when I said earlier about me regretting something? This is it. So I could have done that and run the other length along there and put the wire down there. Well, I can't now because I've chopped the wire off. Maybe at the back. Lighten up the bottom. Not too sure. What do you think, Kath? I know you hate RGB, so you're probably the worst person to ask, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Yeah, it looks alright.
With or without the RGB, this strip?
I suppose it's all about RGB then, yeah.
It's quite nice without it, isn't it? But I think it still needs something here to glow a little bit or do something.
Glowing on the top.
What, up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just have a mirror or something down there, couldn't you?
Yeah, someone else said that, didn't they?
Yeah. Or a Wolfman, I think.
William Bow says, down was better, Mike, for a TV show, you want to blind the camera. I think that is pretty much it, yeah, that is the idea, really. It's a shame the magnets on those aren't a little bit stronger.
You put a bit of that tape on.
It's got self-adhesive on there, but it's not sticking very well. Where's the noise coming from? Is that coming from your PC? Oh, of course, yeah, 'cause I've been using the remote control, haven't I?
Don't know where my remote control's gone. But when I do it, wait for yours to...
Yeah, you'll turn on mine off now. Ah, you changed my lights to unicorn puke. Good work. There we go. We've got the carnival in. The carnival's entered. Right, I'm going to leave it at that, I think. I should get some pictures from Mitch, shouldn't I?
You can watch a video.
Oh God, no. Because I've been slagging off for hours. Right, bear with me a second. I'm just going to get on Facebook and send Mitch a picture. Let's see what he's. Where is Mitch? Okay. Photo. How do you do video? Press and hold. There you go, Mitch. What do you reckon of that? Is that enough RGB for you? I've left the glass off. Let me know what you think. Can I play that? Why is it not playing? Oh, sod it. That'll do. That'll do. Okie dokie. So I think pretty much our work here is done. Other than a bit of cable tied in and possibly putting a graphics card in. I think actually putting a graphics card in is probably needed, to be honest. It will help disguise some of this stuff going on here. And this space really, for most of us that know about PCs or have got a reasonable idea about a PC, I think this is kind of, yeah, it looks nice, it looks okay, but it needs a little bit of something here. And maybe some sort of action figure here. I'll have to see if there's like a theme on the show. If there is, get some kind of thing in there.
Mark says, hey guys, how do I reinstall Windows 11 without losing all my data? I'm currently stuck. A blue screen that says your PC needs to be repaired. Discord?
Yeah. There is a way to do it, but you need to get into Windows to do it, really. We have done a video on how to do a repair install. If you look on the channel, you can search for it. I can't think of the link off the top of my head. If someone finds it and can put it into the chat, that would be awesome. But yeah, just go into Mike's Unboxing, go to the home page, and then if you type in the search box repair install or just repair, it might come up with that. Try Windows repair install. Yeah, if not, head over to our Discord. I'll put the link for that in the chat for definite. And also one for CD keys and also for the technically stable mouse pads. And actually, you lot have been doing absolutely blinding work, I should say. The
is it how to do Windows 10 or 11 repair install without losing
data.
program data?
That's the badger. That'll ding dang do. Kath's going to put the link in the chat for you. Yeah, with the help of you guys and girls out there, at the moment, in the technically stable leaderboard of sales, we are currently #1, I think. At least we were yesterday. So, yeah, you lot have been absolutely blowing it out the water in buying loads of mouse mats, which is pretty awesome. BIOS speaker, I'm going to keep that. Sorry, Mitch. I'm trying to think of what spare parts I should give them, just in case. And I'm also thinking slightly of like what bits I should throw away and which bits I should not, just in case he turns around and says, oh, actually, they've cancelled the show. So, yeah, the PC's yours, Mike. That would be upsetting, wouldn't it? I need some bigger druggy bags to put all this stuff in. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments. Is it what you expected it would be? Is it worse? Is it better? I know really for me it's just been a bit of fun doing this and revisiting kind of jobs that I used to do. And I do actually miss it to some extent, although the stress and frustration of being on the set and having to look after all this crap, I don't miss that at all in the slightest. But hopefully...
You have to put the glass on and see what it looks like.
Oh, yep, I can put the glass on. I will need to do that anyway because I need to put it back in the box for safekeeping. And of course we will be revisiting this at some point, putting the graphics card in.
Can you fit the LED strip behind the lower grille?
I don't, yeah, not easily. I can put it down at the very, very bottom so it illuminates this bit. But ideally I don't want to highlight that bit too much because of the cables that are kind of jammed in there. So at the moment, this actually detracts your eye from what is going on down here to some extent.
Put the strip in the basement.
Yeah. That, I've just explained why I'm not going to do that.
I'm reading, I'm not listening. Put your disco lights in it.
No, can't get rid of the disco lights. They're very important. I'm sorry, Dave, as well, that I didn't use those cables that you brought round earlier.
Put it under the case like a car.
My apologies. Oh, a bit of underlighting. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah, take it out.
Take it out.
Just blue tack it in anywhere.
Yeah. I will definitely get the glue gun on it at some point. Just to keep all the cables in place. Once Mitch has seen it and he's moderately happy with it. I say moderately. He is a brummie. Oh, is that my phone just went?
No, a GPU is needed. It seems very bare.
Yeah.
But you've said all this.
Yeah, the GPU is the kind of the missing part. If it had a GPU in it, I think it would look a lot nicer. And I would imagine almost immediately when they get it, they're going to put black stickers over the circles and over the MSI badge. I would almost put money on that, and probably something over that as well. Even though it doesn't stand out that much, the center hubs on the fans actually do. A bit too much. So I would completely understand that. I should be stood on the other side so I can actually see the chat whilst I'm doing this. So Mitch Allen says, I like it a lot. Thank you. It's like I say, it is a bit of fun. And to some extent it's actually useful because it's clearing out some parts which have been knocking around that I've not been using. To be honest with you, this box or this case, the cats have been using it as a stepping stone to get into the window. get the other bit of glass on the front. Yeah. I think it looks pretty cool. Let's turn the light out. Yeah, that's quite bright. It's quite vivid. Let's get my phone out again and send another shot to young Mitch.
There you go, Mitch.
There you go, Mitch. Looks like the carnival has come to town. Send that to him as well. Bless him. Right, let's put the light back on. I can't believe you're playing
How does that work so easy?
What's that? Well,
Just being on my desk like that.
can't believe Kath started playing Candy Crush or something.
Candy Crush. I've played that for years.
Right. So didn't use that. Oh, yeah. I don't think that would have worked very well, would it? The RGB thing. So.
Might need to black out the bottom grill. That
Fix
does
that.
look a bit. But is there a reason for that? Is the back on?
No, not at the moment.
Probably why, isn't it? The light shining through it.
Yes, it probably is actually. Let's stick that back on. Oh yeah, because I took the back off to get access to the RGBs. Andy Archer says, nice and bright mic, but I worry about the magnetic coming loose when people move it around. Yeah, I think I will put a dab of hot glue on there, or maybe just get some double-sided tape. I've been doing some 3D printing this week on a few little bits and pieces. I've actually done some 3D printing. I've done house letters, numbers for the house, so the postman can see where we are a little bit easier. And I printed out a smaller set, matching set to go for the wheelie bin. Then I realised after that I printed them out in white, and on the front of the wheelie bin there's a white square which you're supposed to stick your digits on, in obviously black. So yeah, that didn't work out as intended, so I just stuck them on the side. It's probably not the best place to put your wheelie bin digits, on the side of your bin, but hey ho, it's
It's
fine.
easy for you to know which bin's yours, isn't it?
So let's turn this off. I think it is all in sync, isn't it? The thing I was actually the most surprised about with this, that no one's actually said anything about, is the RAM sticks. The RAM sticks are something which I thought was going to stick out like an absolute sore thumb and look terrible. Now, they don't look great, but it's not the sort of thing that you'd be like, oh, look at the state of those RAM sticks, they look awful. It actually worked out quite well. And I am almost considering reprinting them in white. But I think if they're white, they're going to show up more. But yeah, we will see what we will see. I'm trying to work out what I need to keep now. And is, oh my God, what do I need to keep? Right, instructions, that'll be handy. I think it's worked out pretty damn well. It could have been a lot worse. I was actually envisaging slightly worse. And I think I can put all the spare parts in this box and attach that to the top of the package, or even put it inside there for when it gets shipped. I don't think there's anything else that really needs to be in there.
Oh no, it's not like RGB, I don't like that strip. It's a bit sort of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it looks like the strip has just been thrown on, doesn't it? Now,
I don't think it does in real life. It's on
yeah,
camera.
on screen it does. Yeah, the camera actually it looks a lot different from the camera than what it does.
So nice from this angle. I'm higher up, I suppose.
You raise me up.
It does look dumped in, but when you're looking at it with your real eyes, it just flows from the front, doesn't it?
Yeah. That it do.
And it doesn't help that that end's sticking up a bit.
Right. That's all cardboard recycling. Oh God. Hang on, people. I'll be with you in a second. Get your questions fired up.
That prop looks great. It looks like it has been built as a hobby.
Hey, that's the idea. Sort of. Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, I've had fun building it anyway. Miyuki says they don't use a Lumix for the TV show. They might do as a B cam or something, but I doubt it. Actually, surprisingly, there's a lot of...
£200 budget, they might well be.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, if they've got a £200 budget, they might be filming on bloody Nokias.
3G.
Yeah. Yeah, uploading the footage via 3G. Charles says, Mike, they will never zoom in on the RAM sticks. Never say never, Charles. We've been down this road. We know where it leads. And it can only lead to hurt. And why does that not fit on that? Did I write on here what goes on where?
Of course you didn't.
Oh, why did Thermaltake do this? So, okay. That's got to be the bottom. Oh, God, blimey. That has got considerably heavier. It's almost like it's a real PC. Which way's the overhang? Well, there's an overhang on both sides. Right. That sort of fits, I guess. Yeah, Thermaltake need to definitely address their case packaging, I think. I know it's not really that important, but if you're building a PC and you're going to be sending it somewhere, you kind of want it to get there in one piece without having to double bag it. Yeah. Freaking awesome. Well, I suppose I better put the tape back on there, stop the dirt getting in there when the cats are using it tonight. Happy days. Right, that is that done. I'm so pleased that's done and dusted. I have been a bit nervous about that. Seeing if everything would work. I need a dustbin. Now the thing is, most of us, especially the PC enthusiasts, you're tempted to keep all of this crap, aren't you? All the screws, all the bits and bobs. Because you know they're going to come in handy at some point, aren't you? Mitch Hammond, Mike, I just got the latest BIOS for my Asus RG Strix B650-A gaming Wi-Fi. Gonna try Expo again. What speed is your RAM that you've got and how many sticks have you got, Mitch? I don't think I asked you that before. Maybe I did, I don't know. My memory is not the best. I have got a BIOS speaker in there already. Damn you. I was looking everywhere for a BIOS speaker the other day and I couldn't find one. I should have known. It's in my little drawer, in my little box.
Why would you know that?
What's that?
Where you've put something, I can't remember.
There's so much of it. Charles Waller says, Mike's day gets more interesting when he has to figure out which piece of styrofoam is the top and which is the bottom. I know. Alessa says, finally, pill time. Yahoo! Oh dear. O'Reilly says, will you charge extra for cat fur props in the prop PC? Someone said that in one of the videos recently. They were watching a video review. I think it might have been one of the keyboard ones. And they replied back saying, do you charge extra for the cat fur on the keyboard? It's like, why be a dick? Like, what? How small-minded are you?
Not one out of your ear.
Yeah. It's like such a stupid thing to say, isn't it? I know people are like sometimes having a laugh and a joke about these things, but it's like, well, that didn't really seem that funny to me, to be fair. It seemed like a bit of a petty thing to say. I guess that's the internet these days, isn't it?
So Mitch has replied, G skill 2x16 6000.
2x6000, okay. And are they Expo rated or are they XMP rated? Because G skill do both, unfortunately, just to make life a little bit more interesting.
Holler says, no, Thernal says, hey Mike, should I install Windows 11 or keep 10 until they stop updating?
Personally, I like Windows 11. I know it's a little bit slower, I know it's a little bit more bloated, but in general, it's fine. And I use the XD Anti-Spy software, which you only need to install once just to do it. And it gets rid of the majority of the bloat and also the telemetry. And I find it feels really nice. It's a nice operating system. It's a little bit more polished than Windows 10. Yes, there's a lot of crap in there that you don't necessarily need, but I don't know. I like it. I've used 10 again. Kav's got 10 on her PC still, and it's kind of. Do you remember when you had Windows 98, and then you went back to using Windows 95, and it felt similar, but it just didn't feel quite right. It felt like there was something not there or missing. And it's that same sort of feeling, I think, between Windows 10 and Windows 11. Windows 10 was very good and it had a lot of features in there, but I think Windows 11 is the better operating system, even though it isn't as fast. It just feels more polished. I don't know. Mitch says they are Expo rated. Okay, cool. So yeah, you should be able to get them to run it at the Expo speeds. You might have to go in and manually enter the Expo speeds for all the timings. So if it says the timings on the box, take note of those. You might need to manually put them in. William Bodie's, Calf, don't let Mike fool you. White PC mouse keyboard. He just want to look tan, so you don't send him into the garden too much. See, Calf tells me all the time, you should be out in the garden. Not to do work, but just to like get some sunshine, get some vitamin, whatever it is these days. And make animal noises when I fall asleep on the bench. I do that. I'm not sure if it's an age thing, it might be. But yeah, as soon as the sun's out and I get myself kind of horizontal, it's just like.
No shame.
I actually, at the point now, I actually put on specific things on my phone on YouTube to help me drift off. Gamer's Nexus is perfect. I probably shouldn't say that, but it is really good for that. The monotone Messiah certainly gets me off to sleep, I should add. Quickly add that one in. Oh dear.
Mitch has replied.
Which Mitch?
The longest I went with
Ah.
Expo.
On manual settings was to 6,000 was almost 4 days. It has never crashed with Expo off. That's weird. I don't know why. You should be okay there. G-Skill's generally a pretty good brand. Sometimes it's down to the processor. Ultimately, regardless of what your memory settings and speed are, it comes down to the memory controller, which is on the processor. So there might be a problem with that. What processor have you got? I didn't see that. You might have to post it all in the Discord again for me or whatever. We'll have a look through and see what could be going on there. But yeah, it's unusual that you're getting all those problems. You shouldn't really. I'm going to put that in there so I remember where it is. So I'm down to a minimal amount of crap here now, which is excellent. Yeah, just don't look to that side of the room where it's not so good. Crucial P5 Plus. Well, that clearly isn't mine because I wouldn't spend that sort of money. Thanos, thanks for the answer. Another question. I'm really afraid of installing a BIOS update. I haven't ever installed new BIOS from 2019. Should I do it now? The thing is, if you haven't installed a BIOS for that long a time, then what you're probably going to encounter is modern BIOSes will update all your settings for Windows 11 for like a fresh install. So as a default, it's going to try and turn on things like Secure Boot, TPM, UEFI, all those types of things which you may or may not be ready for on your operating system. So if you've got drives on there which are MBR or in compatibility mode, if you do a BIOS update, it's going to automatically jump to UEFI, in which case your system is not going to boot. And you're going to be kind of scratching your head thinking, well, why is my computer not booting? I've only just done a BIOS update. But the modern BIOS updates do make those settings. So I would be tempted if you're gonna upgrade to Windows 11, it's probably not ideal. I would be tempted in your situation, if you can, obviously back up your system first, but maybe get another drive, take your old drive out, install your BIOS update, then install a fresh Windows 11 with the new BIOS settings. I think that's going to be the much safer way of doing it, personally. That way, anything like TPM, UEFI, compatibility mode is all going to be somewhat irrelevant because you're doing a new BIOS on a new install. I think that's the way to go, personally. But let me know what you think. I don't know. Shady says, Steve from Gamers Nexus talks really fast. I have to play the vid at 0.75 just to understand him. I've noticed recently Steve has speeded up. If you look at some of his older videos, he used to talk very, very slowly indeed, and it was all very monotone and not very much change in the actual tone of his voice at all. Whereas now he's kind of all over the place, and he throws in a little bit more humour now as well. So whether he's just feeling a bit more comfortable in the camera, I shouldn't take the piss really, because he does a lot of really good stuff. He is a good journalist, so you can't really take that away from him. Although, yeah, actually, I won't say any more. I will leave it at that. But yeah, he does a lot of good stuff for the community, so he should be applauded for that alone. Soulblade says, I think my graphics card just hates Windows 10. Our son, he's saved up for RTX 4080 Super, and he's been having loads of problems with his PC recently. Gigabyte motherboard, I should add, and we've been going through all sorts of things. So he's had the graphics card driver got corrupted somehow, and I find it unusual because he was getting to the point where the graphics card fan would spin all the time. And I was thinking to myself, I was up there doing some work on it, I was thinking, that seems really weird that Nvidia don't have fan stop technology on a 4080 Super. It's a huge cooler, it's a 4090 cooler for God's sake. So you'd think that there's enough mass there of metal so the fans don't need to spin. And I didn't really give it much else thought because I've had other Founders Edition cards where they haven't had fan stop technology. And then I realised, I thought, well, actually saying that as well, the wattage seems a bit high and it seems to be reasonably warm. Whereas most 40 series cards don't get very hot at all. And there's various other things. He's also had his hard drive fail, as I said earlier, because he needs to get a NAS really. And yeah, we're going through various things, and it's kind of like, well, where is the problem coming from? One of the problems was, you know, if you turn your PC on, it's left on the thing to log in, like to put your password in. If you would leave it on that, go to the bathroom, like when he wakes up in the morning, turn the PC on, go to the bathroom, by the time you come back, the PC would have crashed. And the GPU light was off, because the RTX 4080 Super lights up on the side. So yeah, the PC would be dead, unresponsive, and the light would be off. And that happened a couple of times. But I had a look at it and it was fine. But then I logged straight in. And he was having it happen every now and then. So I said, right, best thing to do, we'll check the system over. Took out the dead hard drive. I said to him today, have you done a fresh Windows install or a repair install? And he hadn't got around to doing that, unfortunately. So I said, well, use DDU, remove the NVIDIA drivers, reboot it, and stick the new ones back on. And almost straight away after doing that, the system seems to be working absolutely fine. And he now has fan stop technology, and it's idling much lower. And I thought this is really weird, because there's a synchronicity with this and Welly Bob, who was having the same thing happen on his computer to some extent, that his 3080 was having high idle power and yeah, just general issues. So he did the same thing, I think, or just got the new drivers, and his problems were rectified as well. So yeah, that was all good. Lucky man. What does Lucky man say there? You know me, Mike and Kath, with my past and loss of limbs. Without this Chan and going back to fishing, I'd be on another plane by now. I'm so lucky. You are lucky. There's a phrase that there's a radio station I listen to, and they say it. This is the day the Lord has made for me, and I will be happy in it. Or what's it he says?
I've never heard that before in my life.
If anyone knows it, it's a Christian thing. This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice in it, or something along those lines. If someone knows what it is, you have to tell me what it is. But yeah,
they say that all the time. I've never heard it.
He says it all the time.
I must fall asleep before then.
And yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but anyway, yeah, you should. Basically the moral of the story is that, yeah, as long as you, regardless of what ailments you've got and what's going on, whether you've got like your bank balance is in the red or bills are stacking up, I don't know, you've woke up in the morning, you've got a great zit on the end of your nose, all these things, like, yeah, realistically, but ultimately you are here, you're alive, you're breathing, you're functioning to some extent. So you're still here by God's grace, or your insert deity of choice. And yeah, you should be happy with your lot, effectively, because you're still here. There's lots of people that aren't. O'Reilly says, I don't know what radio station that is. It's like a talk radio station on in America, so I tune into. But it's not like a terrestrial station. We don't have a TV license, so we can't listen to live radio. Top tip.
And you save yourself.
Save
much is it now?
Save myself, what, 200 and whatever it is a year?
150?
Oh, I don't know. Thanos says, Mike, if I'm going to install BIOS update, should I back up my files and clean install Windows? Yes. I would suggest that's a way to do it. Clean install. David Andrew says, I love Windows 11. David Andrew says, BIOS update should not need a new install. No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily need one, but if you get to a point where you install Windows 11, no, hang on, BIOS update should not, yeah. If you're on an old BIOS, like from 2019, like, that's pre-COVID, BIOSes have changed massively. So, like I said, Secure Boot, TPM, UEFI, they're going to be defaults on a new BIOS update. So if you're on an older version of Windows, which doesn't have any of those features enabled, after you do that BIOS update, there's almost 100% chance that you are not going to get back into Windows without doing some configuring in the BIOS, if you even can, if you have that ability. A lot of people don't.
Discord if you need to.
Discord is there if you need to, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. you should not need to do a new install, but in that instance, with an old installation, a really old BIOS, and you're thinking of going to Windows 11 anyway, an upgrade is probably not ideal from Windows 10 to Windows 11, because you got all that remnants in the registry, you're dragging across. Pretty much every Windows update brings with it something not quite right. So start fresh, nice clean install, and you can appreciate the operating system for what it is, rather than dragging the baggage of 10 across with it. Discord is going to be linked. There we go. Dutch Jan says, I'm still here because of my medication. Lester says, I'm still here because heaven doesn't want me and hell knows I'll take over. Man John says, this is the day that the Lord has made. Christian song. No, I don't think it's a Christian song. I think it's just a phrase. This is the day that the Lord has made and I will rejoice in it. I think is the actual thing.
Getting a bit more familiar now, whoever it's because you said it.
I've said it wrong a few times, but yeah, it's, I'll see if I can find it. It's Dr. Brewer. I'll listen to it tonight and I'll hear it. I put on stuff like talk radio at night because it helps me go to sleep again if Steve's not released a video.
No, I can't stand listening to his voice. It makes my brain too busy trying to figure out what he's saying. And then I don't understand it anyway.
Lucky Man says, PS, my DirectX 12 problem was my CPU changed. My 5900X for 5600X and all temps down and gaming again. Excellent. Glad you got it sorted. Hoove says, if you want to build a pretty PC, it just takes time and preparation. It's not hard doing the physical install. Preparation is probably the hardest. Yeah, making sure that everything is suitable and fits and does what you want it to. A lot of it is guesswork to some extent. David says the 5600X is an amazing CPU. It does, it's good. I like it. Rasher says, Aletta, you're giving away your age. Because she said about they can remember when they said that nobody needs more than 1 megabyte of RAM. Those were the days. That was the IBM 5150, was it? Back then? Was it the 5150? I can't remember what it was. It was one of the early IBM, I think that's pre the XT. Yeah, I think it is. I'm not sure if the IBM XTs were 1 megabyte or less. I think you could upgrade them to 4, possibly. That's before my time, to be honest with you. Or is it? Yeah, I would have been very young. Very, very young. O'Reilly says, I don't really have a theme when it comes to building PCs. It just has to work and do the tasks well. Yeah, I think that's... David Under says the IBM 5150 was the first IBM PC. Was that 1 megabyte or less? I think that was up. I think you could upgrade that to 2 megabytes or something, couldn't you, from the ISA bus? I'm really out of touch with it, all that old stuff. Man John says, have you seen the Chris Titus tool for debloating Windows? I used it after a fresh install recently. It's magic. I've used something similar which is called XD Anti-Spy, which kind of does the same sort of thing. David says the IBM PC started as a basic 64K. So maybe it is the one I'm thinking of then.
Did you do Thermaltake to install the BIOS?
Thanos, no, you don't need to take out the CPU RAM and that. You don't need to do any of that. All you need to do, if you've got a working PC that boots up, you can do it from the BIOS itself. So just get the BIOS onto a USB stick, unzipped and extracted, and then when you're ready or about ready to do your fresh install of Windows on your new drives, you can try and do the BIOS update from within the BIOS. So go into your BIOS. Generally you'll go across a few tabs at the top to the tools section, and there'll be something like Easy Flash or M Flash or Q Flash, whatever it might be for your brand, and you can just run the update from there. You might find, because you've done, or you haven't done a BIOS update for a very, very long time, you might not be able to go straight to the very newest one. So you might have to do it in kind of incremental jumps. Sometimes if you, well, you can tell if you need to, because when you try and do the flash, it'll come up saying cannot read BIOS file or something along those lines, which means you need to use an older one and kind of take baby steps rather than going from one to the other. I prefer personally, if I can, going from like whatever that's on the motherboard right to the very newest one, but you're looking at like 5 years of updates there, so there's probably going to be some interim update which is like a mandatory jump. It might not be, but I'm just warning you just in case. If you want to be helped through it, you can head over to our Discord, and I'm sure someone will try and help you there, if not myself. Deathstroke says, is XP anti-spy idiot proof? I don't think so. I wouldn't say idiot proof. It just basically, there's tick boxes and it says, it gives you options of what you want to do, and it tells you what those options do. So if you're not sure, you can read the description. We have done a video on it, XD anti-spy.
I don't know if it's out yet though.
I don't think it is. I think it's out very soon. I think it's out to members currently. I could be wrong. No, I think that has gone out, hasn't it?
I'm not
Didn't it go out a couple of days ago?
But because I released them to other things.
Yeah, look for XD Anti-Spy on our channel. You'll see a video. It's actually very easy to use, and I like it a lot.
Remove Windows 11. Yeah, there it is. I'll stick it in the chat now.
Alexa says, I'm having a hard time getting back on Discord. I can't convince it that I'm not a robot. O'Reilly says, the author of XD Anti-Spy has other projects on GitHub. Yeah, he seems to be quite prolific, doing quite a few things. There you go. Caps put a link in the chat there, so if you want to check out XD Anti-Spy, you can see what it's like. It's pretty decent. Try it. Leave a comment on the video. Let me know what you think. And talking of let me know what you think, I should wrap this up because I have actually got work to do tomorrow morning in the shop. So if you're in the Bristol area and you want to say hello, Motor Parts in Downend in High Street, drop in, say hello. And I will try and keep my eyes open and make some kind of reasonable conversation with you. Possibly. And Luke will go, ugh. Jeez, Rasher. Gateway 2000 PCs, I remember those well. So, anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed tonight's stream. If you have, smash the like button. Thanks always, and for all of you for your input and for being with us on this journey. Thank you all for those who left donations, super chats, bought memberships, etc. All we ask is if you do watch the videos, just leave a like on them, and if you've got time, leave a comment. If you can, share them, brilliant. But yeah, all you can do is fantastic, and we thank each and every one of you. So I think that's going to wrap this one up. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and we'll see you all very soon. If I can find the... Oh, I pressed the wrong one. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Night, everybody. See you on Monday, or in the Discord tomorrow.